All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you folks laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet, and all that.
All right, welcome to the 106th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Julius Irving episode because we smooth as fuck.
And we put up 100.
And we'll jam on your ass. I don't know what that means in terms of podcasting, but it lets you know, like, we out here doing things. You know what I mean?
We balling on these white boys.
We transcend the leagues. Like, we're not just comedians. We're also into podcasting. We're also into doing whatever the fuck you need. Whenever you need somebody to come out and represent your brand, we're here. And Julius Irving, a great brand ambassador to both the ABA and NBA.
Nice.
And he did the cuff dunk on the dude.
Boom.
So, I am half the hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. 106, where we at? 105, 106? 106, man. We've been asking, for 106 episodes. We're going to keep asking, man. Hop on iTunes, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we continue to do well. And that's how we let others know that we're doing well. You know what I mean? So please, hop on iTunes, rate and review. Takes you about 30 seconds, man.
Doesn't take long. And as always, listen, when we see you in public, you always tell us, hey, we love you guys. Mm. Now, what we need you to do is just go to the internet and tell other people.
That's it.
Not particularly.
And if you
difficult.
do it, you might get your.
We might fuck around and read your review, which is what we normally do. And as always, we, in lieu of actual reviews on iTunes, we do take shots of Henny.
Yep.
Shout out to
that's a real thing.
Shout out to James. James got us.
Shout out to James Logbo. He's out there. You know what I mean? He started the trend. He was like, "Look, man, I hear you guys looking for reviews. I listen to the podcast, love it. I'm not into reviewing, but I do got a couple dollars for some shots." And we were like,
I will buy you shots of Henny. In lieu of words, I will give you brown liquor because you're two black comedians, and I know that you drink brown. It's one of those things where if you assume I drink brown, I don't get upset.
Yeah.
Like, if you assume I ate chicken, I would be tight a little bit. But if you assume I drink brown, I'd be like, you know us.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Can I say that?
No, it is okay because I know when I go to a bar and they ain't got Henny, you probably didn't want us here.
So we'll read a review. This is from Minnie456667, which is scary because she has 3 6s in a row. I don't know what that means. So she's a small
Mary 666.
No, Minnie456667. So she's a small devil, and she says, very funny host and a diverse group of guests, fans of craft beer and fans of comedy who will love the podcast. They have an eclectic and interesting guest which offers an insight into art and brewing, politics, and music. Yet they are funny as hell too.
Wow.
Minnie wants the D. Listen, I done hit a couple chicks under 5'2". She wants the D, and that's cool. Shout out to Minnie.
Yes, that was in depth. That was
my D is the devil. It'll fuck your world up. That is terrible. Listen, I got a family. Day, what the hell? Why'd you let me do that?
Hey man, you know what? Since I want to say episode 17, I've lost control of this podcast.
Yo,
so you just
episode 17,
you've taken over.
Up until 17, you were the bad guy.
I was the bad guy.
I had one run-in with Bike Pittsburgh.
Once you got into Bike Pittsburgh,
all of a sudden,
curtains. So
here's what happens. Here's what I found out with Day. Day allows me to introduce all controversial topics, and then he gives his opinion. But because I introduced them, I'm the asshole. And I'm such a family man that I'm a little bit appalled that everybody thinks I'm the asshole. Like, I'm not an asshole at all.
That's what alcohol do to you, man. You get to saying shit, and
is that what hames?
How did I even get here?
Is this?
I love it because I love to give you as much rope as possible, and even if I co-sign, it's okay because I wasn't the one.
because
I wouldn't want to say it.
You're fairer.
I've only
of
been
skin.
influenced.
You're fairer of skin. I don't like that. They give him a pass because he's a little lighter to me. But shout out to Minnie456667. Thank you for the review.
Yeah,
Thank you for listening. I hope you still continue to listen. If you do want the D, hit me up at edbaileycomedy@gmail.com.
And if you want the DB, hit me up at Dave Bracy. At Dave Bracy across the board. Get it, baby. Hey, yo, if you're listening to this,
the board.
If you're listening to this right now, and you're like, oh, man, this shit sounds dope as hell.
It's
super smooth.
2 of 2.
It's crisp. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound like they recorded it on their phone or in a random basement in Allentown, because that's what we are actually doing. And you're like, man, this
ain't
quality.
random. This is just
No,
a cool ass spot.
You're not driving by like, oh, like, yeah, I mean, I'm looking for a crazy ass studio workspace. Let me go over to Allentown. No, that's random as shit. You drive past this, you're not gonna see. You know what I mean? But if you're listening,
you don't think there's a basement here
you don't
when you
think
see the front.
You know there's a basement. You don't think they podcasting out here. There might be some other weird shit going on.
Fair enough.
And you're thinking, you're listening to this. Man, this shit sounds crisp. It sounds clean. It sounds really professional. You know why?
Ain't nobody
Epicast.
dope as me. I podcast fresh and clean. So fresh and so clean.
That's that Epicast sound coming through.
You're
you know
just
what I mean?
jealous.
Like, because we come in, we get shit faced, we talk to interesting people. And then Epicast makes that shit sound very smooth, very, very sultry, very, very professional. And that's the only reason we're able to bring you the jokes and the the small business and everything else that we promote. So if you're looking for work, you're looking for studio time, you're looking for some photos, any event that you're putting on, event production, promotion, advertising, any way you want to grow your business, holla at Epicast, man. That's the only reason we're here, and we appreciate it, because
all your media and advertising needs, they can take care of.
Yeah.
And let me say this, at its impetus, at its creation, this podcast was just 2 dudes trying to decide what we can do extra outside of comedy. It has grown into something that I never expected, I did not plan for, and a lot of that has to do with Epicast. So not only do you get the pictures, the photos, the audio, you get backing, brand promotion, you get an advocate in the community, especially the small business community, which is huge here in Pittsburgh, to push your brand forward. So if you're looking to really push a brand forward, if you have an idea, if you have something that you're trying to do, definitely link up with Epicast.
Yeah.
Link up with us too, because Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family. You know what I mean? It's all family here, and it's always been like that. So, I mean, we're brand endorsers of Epicast just because of what we've been able to do, and we've not been able to do it without Epicast. We would have never won Best Podcast in the City.
Best podcast in the city.
Best podcast. You gotta
Martyr on the Move, second best podcast in the city. That's 2 of the best podcasts in the city.
2 of the best.
Coming from the
same house. So definitely, if you got something that you're thinking about doing, if you got something you want to push forward, link up with Epicast. If at the very least they can link you with the people that you need to be linked with. True. And they're probably the people that you need to link with.
Started from the basement, now we here. I mean,
started from the back room, now we here. Started from me in a floral shirt from Urban Outfitters, sitting that hot ass back room talking to a friend of mine, and then we start podcasting with mayors and doers and movers and shakers in the city. We know mayors.
Epicast.
That's what I'm talking about.
We got my boy Knowledge. Can we acknowledge Knowledge in the building?
Man. Yo, that's another in this work
Super
hard
negric.
space.
He got a polo pullover, duck boots, and a hat that I don't know where the fuck it came from. If that ain't a Negro in America, I don't know what else is. A Negro will throw polo in any outfit just because. If you know nothing else, just know I got this low on, fam. You know what I mean? Just know my horses is moving. You know what I mean? I don't know how to ride a horse, but I can wear the fuck out of one of them. You know?
So we want to shout out. We're comedians. I don't know if you know that.
We funny.
But we're comedians, and we do a monthly show every last Saturday of the month in 2017. You can find us putting on a stand-up showcase with the best comedy in Pittsburgh and around the nation.
Consistency.
Down at Comptra Theater. It's Comptra Theater over in Cranberry, Route 19. Every month we have a new guest. Apis will come through. They'll give you free samples of their mead, which is the best mead that I've ever had, like, hands down. And then it's crazy because, like, I was talking to Dave or whatever, and he was like, yo, I feel a certain way because we're, you know, like, we're one of very few people in Pittsburgh that do mead. I think people just think mead is what it is. And I did. And then I've actually had a couple other meads, and I was like, no, what he's doing is absolutely spectacular.
No, Apis mead gets you, let me tell you, I'm going to give it to you raw. Apis mead tastes good, then it gets you fucked up.
Yeah. It drinks like a beer, but it has the alcohol content of a heavy wine.
Don't think you doing something because you down that first glass of mead with no issues. No, you fucked up. You just don't know it's going to happen in 20 minutes.
You don't know until you wake up. You be like, the fuck? That's why the Vikings.
Apis mead. The fuck? That's the ad.
Exactly.
Can we sell that?
Apis mead. The fuck? Because that's why the Vikings drink it. That's what the Vikings used to drink before they went out and pillaged whole fucking like neighborhoods. You know what I mean? It's some powerful shit. So they'll be down there sponsoring the event. They'll be handing out some of their meads or whatever. It's a BYOB event, so you can also bring your own booze.
Yeah.
And we have some of the best comedy in the city and through the nation. This next
music, comedy, bring your own brews, and we're giving you liquor
free
for $15 a ticket.
And I know you
Chris
saving
got
up.
motherfuckers tight.
You saving up for that Valentine's Day, so you're gonna need a little 15 date night for $30.
This is the month where you don't pay your light bill, and you be like, I can get it on the back end. I know it. You ain't got a front. They don't shut your shit off after 1 month. They give you several months. You didn't pay your light bill.
That water bill, like,
and that's cool. Like, it's all right. Go out and enjoy yourself. Take your lady out, make her laugh, get her drunk, take her home, and make a baby.
Yeah, and if you're looking for tickets, they are on ContraTheater.ticketleap.com, man. Get those tickets, $15, and you have the time of your life, man. So
now, in further getting fucked up news, we also have partnered with Hooch.
Shout out to Hooch.
So we have 30 drinks. $1, so that's 1 drink a day for 30 days. If you subscribe and use the promo code DrinkPod, all lowercase, what better? I mean, I don't know if there's a better deal. 30 drinks for $1.
You download an app for $1, and then every day of that month, you get to go to a new spot and get a free drink.
So essentially, you download, tell them you know us. You don't even gotta know us. Just tell them you heard us and heard this thing, and they'll give you a drink, 1 drink for free every day for 30 days. That's a month of work sucks. Let me go take a shot.
Yeah, that's your come down. I mean,
fellas,
courtesy of Drinking Partners, $1.
Fellas, if you got wife and a kid, take your shot on your way home. Rush hour gets a little easier after that shot, fam.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act like you ain't been sitting in your car driving home to them little ass kids and your wife and be like, damn, I wish I was a little tipsy.
A little bit more.
You know what I mean? $30.
Drinking Partners, bringing families together.
No, 30 drinks, $1.
Keeping your marriage going.
Drink pod.
Via Hooch.
Not only do we podcast, we do marriage counseling.
True.
So, download the Hooch app. We got the one spot in Pittsburgh. If you're in Pittsburgh listening, it's Gabriel. It's Gabriella's or Gabriel.
Graperia. Man, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get that.
It's not something that you're gonna be able to say before you take the shot.
But if you hear it and you see it, you're gonna know it. Graperia.
All major cities, New York, Los Angeles, all those major cities, you can download the app. So if you're listening and you're not in Pittsburgh and you want to be connected to the Partners Pod, download the Hooch app and let us know. Hit us up online. Let us know that you've used the Hooch app, so we know, you know what I mean, that it's just making an impact. I think it's a dope deal. I think you should take advantage of it. I'm on my way to Graperia's or whatever the fuck it's called tomorrow.
True.
Because Monday's the worst day.
Yeah, it is.
You definitely need a shot on Mondays. Think of 30. Think of.
Even
listen,
if you only
$1.
used it,
that's 4 Mondays.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you only use it on Monday, you're getting 4 drinks for $1. You know what I mean? Like, then you get your Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Man, come on. All right, so
you're trying to impress a chick, get her that first drink on us, first drink on us, like, and we won't even show up to steal your girl.
Could you imagine Dave Chappelle having that and not how what was that? What's the stoner dip?
Half baked.
Could you remember when he was on?
When he was walking down the street, you took my reference and I forgot my reference. That was my old shit, but fuck the ice cream. We're gonna get you some scotch.
True.
Like, that's how we doing it out here.
That helped out.
So we got that. Listen, if you guys listen to, did we talk about Epicast?
We talked to Epicast.
We talked to Epicast?
Yeah. For those listening, this is our second podcast. So
we're fucked up.
We've been through a few things, and we're about to get into even
What are
more
we fucked
things.
up on, Dave? What are you drinking?
Right now, I'm drinking some of this KP.
You drinking some of this KP from?
From Voodoo.
Voodoo.
Yeah.
I got the Voo Diggity. I got the GM. I don't know what the fuck it means, but it tastes good as shit.
Our
And
guest-
our first podcast was Farm to Table. Listen to episode 105. We get you some good information. If you know some people who, you know what I mean, need to get some food, if you know some individuals looking to try to get some food, or just trying to learn how to eat healthy, definitely listen to episode 105. It's very informative, lets you know what's going on in the city. Follow Farm to Table. We followed that up with more liquor because fuck learning, we just trying to drink. You understand? Like, we drink, y'all learn. That's basically what happens. I learn on this, but y'all drink.
Yeah, I'm going to forget 60% of this podcast.
Oh, no, I ain't going to remember none of this shit till I remember it.
So somebody be like, you remember when you said that shit? I'd be like,
Nah, I can find it.
not really. But I'm glad you remembered that.
So we have an abundance of voodoo out this bill. And let me tell you something about voodoo. Voodoo's I live down the street from voodoo.
Yeah.
Voodoo, I go to Voodoo Homestead. I go in, I get a growler, and I'm.
If you're looking for friends, go to Voodoo, man. That shit.
If you've been listening to the podcast because of our conversation at Voodoo, I lied, dude. I just want you to know everything I said to you was false.
There's no dog park.
There is no
dates.
dog on the horizon,
No dog dates.
but at least we enjoy good beer together.
Oh my god.
Now, I will say this, all jokes aside, some of the best beer that I've had, and that beer at Voodoo, it ain't nothing to be played with.
No.
Like, you don't drink Voodoo on some bullshit. Like, you gotta prep for Voodoo. Like, Voodoo, it does Voodoo on your mind, your body. You nigga, all the shit that you thought is coming out.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if you're looking at, say, your marriage is on the rocks, hey,
Drink some
get
Voodoo
get
and then
some of
talk
that
to
love
her.
child.
Drink some Voodoo and talk to your wife.
That'll do
Drink a
some-
cup. Episode 44, all jokes aside, episode 44, we sat with this gentleman. We all got fucked up, some
We got
more
super
than others.
Yeah, some more than others. I actually feel like I was the one that
You were the
came out.
least fucked up,
I
and
was,
that's never happened.
Rare. That's rare.
You were the least. You had the furthest to drive.
That's because I outside.
You had the furthest to drive.
I had the furthest. Well, I had a DD that night, so I didn't even have to drive. But I knew what I was getting into. I had been drinking Voodoo for a little longer.
Okay,
you
I
know
was
what
new to
mean?
Voodoo.
Yeah.
I was fucked up,
And
I was like, I only gotta go up the street.
I knew drinking partners and I knew Voodoo, and I was like, these two things are gonna lead to death.
Well, I
So-
came out in my special socks, and I thought that in those socks I could avoid all fucked upness, and nope.
Your sober socks.
Yeah, my sober socks. I wore them stand sober socks, and basically I crawled up the street. We got Jake here from Voodoo. He's brought an assortment of liquors. Jake, say what up to the people.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on for time
No,
number
thank
2.
you. Thank you for coming back.
I'm a huge fan. I have like a little bit of like, I feel like I'm in the presence of celebrities.
Nah, you the celebrity. Because here's the thing about celebrities. Celebrities impact lives. We do, but you actually get people fucked up. So, like, we can impact lives by virtue of them listening to the podcast.
Well, thank you.
That's gotta
It's
feel
a cool
good.
business to be in, right?
I would say it has to feel good. Do you go home on Friday nights and wonder about how many people have stumbled into their house? How many arguments between husband and wife have happened because of the love child?
I wouldn't say arguments. It seems like we kind of create love with the love child. And as I kind of told you guys before we popped on, I mean, legitimately, Voodoo Love Child is responsible for myself and all of my business partners' children.
Is that so? You told us
It's a true story,
the
man.
name Voodoo Love Child came from the fact that you guys are making babies. Are you willing to stand by that recorded on air?
I am. And so we're all old now. So, this is, I mean, seriously. I mean, so we got, myself and all my buddies, we got involved in this, years and years ago. And now we're like old and we've grown, I feel like a pretty sweet company that we're like extremely proud of. And we all have kids and
Well, you're canning now.
we've got, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, what we're doing, it's kind of it's a no turning back thing. And we've had the ability to grow this company that we're super proud of over the last couple years. I came in along with a whole bunch of my other buddies in 2009 with a company that was on the verge of, growing really fast. And, I was a silent guy for a while and my partners really drove the company and I was a dude that was put my life savings into it from the military. And then it was kind of like, this is just a cool thing that I'm really interested in and have passion for. Like, yeah, it's about getting drunk and having fun, but it's also about like, you know, an artisanal product that we put together that's, you know, something that we take a lot of pride in. And, you know, 2016 was our year, man.
So when we spoke months ago,
We had just opened up Voodoo Homestead.
yeah, you had just opened Homestead. You had been in Meadville for how long?
So originally, Voodoo was originally incorporated in Meadville in 2006.
Okay, so you had guys that had been in Meadville for 10 years because we did it last year.
He started brewing a little bit after that.
Right.
And then, you know, essentially our founder, the original founder, kind of reached out to our CEO, Matteo Rashaki, and was like, hey, I'm looking for an investment group to come on and be a part of this. And then, you know, I always tell the joke, but it's legit. You know, like guys like me threw in our entire life savings, and I bought an engagement ring, 3 months rent at a shitty apartment in Shadyside, and put the rest of it into Voodoo as like, hey, this is something I believe in because I think that the product that we're putting forth and kind of the things that we're doing as a company, I'm going to go all in on it. And you know what? Who, in my mind, like who gives a crap if you're going to get rich off of it? Because that's not what it's about. Like it's something, I mean, we were still making these year rounds that you guys are drinking. We were still making Grand Met and White Magic and, you know, Killer Pills and all these beers. And, you know, back then this was like, it was something nobody had ever heard of in Western Pennsylvania. I mean, imagine 2010 being like, oh, hey guys, we have a spiced Belgian wit with coriander and sea salt.
Yeah, no.
They were like,
2010,
you know what I mean?
was
Like
2010, I was still
Yeah.
sliding to the firehouse.
yeah, no, you used to hang out down there?
Oh, my boy Window, shout out to bartender.
Dude, that's
Window.
that was my
Firehouse?
joint.
Window's your dude. Yo,
Dude,
shout out to
talking
my
about
boy
Firehouse?
Wendell. He was my college roommate. Wendell was the bartender at Firehouse. I would go in, I would have $20. I would give him $20, and he would make me drinks all night. I fucked Asian broads. I fucked so many races.
It was like
by
it was
just
like baby
being
Shady.
down at the. Can I say
like
that?
Baby Shady side.
Are you gonna?
Like,
Are you
No,
gonna edit that out,
that's
Buzzy?
getting edited out
Are
for
you-
sure.
Oh, basketball players! I fucked all types of women. Like it was weird as shit being at the because think about the Firehouse was they had one room.
You gotta let me tell
that
the
was-
story about the firehouse after.
One room was like random regular club shit, and then the other room had alternative music. It had Indian music. It was like out on the porch. Like you could have two different rooms in one night. Get random like cheap drinks.
Oh, they had the wine Wednesdays. And
Yeah,
shit,
wine
half-off
Wednesdays.
bottles.
Firehouse, I say to this day, Firehouse was the funnest shit I've ever
Yeah,
went
that
to.
was one of
I was so bummed when it closed, man. I went down there, so I was on R&R
There was
from
an Asian lady that had
Yeah.
the chicken on the outside.
The chicken
she's still there.
outside.
Them chicken on the stick.
Be like, yo,
man.
let me get you some chicken so you have sound mind,
Yes.
body, and soul.
Yes.
So there are no charges after
Yes, it
this.
was
Like
a
we've
one-stop
both
shop.
been drinking.
Yes.
Like
went down there. Got bottle service, bought like a bottle back in the day. We're like all high rollers and shit.
Yeah.
Now that we
You didn't even have to
graduated
do
from
that.
like a shitty 4-year undergrad college,
You
and
didn't
like
even have to get
now I'm in the
bottle
army, and
service.
Uncle Sam's, you know, paying me a whole like 30 G's, you know what I mean, a year and whatever. And like
Ballin'.
we
but
went
you
down
can go
there
in the
and like,
Firehouse with $30K.
yeah, for whatever reason,
Annual
for
and
whatever,
ball out.
yeah, for whatever reason, we get this bottle right, and then we had to like dip out real quick. I think it was probably like one of my buddies just had to roll.
You was
for
fucked
whatever,
up.
yeah, you know what I mean. So I come back there a couple years later. I walk in and I was like, oh, like hey, my name's. They're like, we'd like to do bottle service again. Like this is right as they're about to close, and they're like, oh, Mr. Voelker. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, we actually have your bottle in the back room with a tag on it that's been here for 2 years. We'd like to.
So
we'd
you
like to
walk in
start
the
you out
bottle
with that.
service with a free bottle.
No,
That's the
he
night.
bought
of
it and forgot about
They were,
it.
no, they were cool. In my mind, I was like, you can't carry that out. That's bad business, man. They had it waiting for me, and they were nice about
That's
it.
dope as
Nice.
shit.
Like that's customer service. They're
Like
"Here you
Firehouse
go."
was a good spot.
Like they were dusting
Yeah.
it. Like
Well,
as I was
Firehouse-
walking in there.
Well, here's what I'll say about Firehouse. I think Firehouse cultivated a culture that was growing in Pittsburgh. I think
Didn't
Pitts-
exist before that.
Right. What
Did
Pittsburgh,
not exist.
What Pittsburgh learned is that, yo, we got all these college graduates or people who just graduated and then are coming in for
Going to-
postgraduate degrees.
Going to Men's
So
Express,
we've got
buying nice shirts.
Right.
Gotta be blue with black
we got all
pants
these
back in 2011.
24-year-olds with undergraduate degrees who are pursuing master degrees or who are working here with their undergraduates. Let's create an atmosphere where they can spend a little more money than the other guy, but they don't have to go broke doing
Exactly.
it.
It was-
created
it was-
that culture.
yeah, it was
and
like
there was
Shady
always those
Side, but it-
Africans with them scarves on.
Yeah.
And those fucking Africans had scarves and wingtip shoes, and it was like June. I'm like, why the fuck is you in here with a scarf? It's
Linen
like,
pants.
Because in Pittsburgh it's colder than Africa. I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, all right.
Nigerian dude that's like,
Yo.
his dad paid for him to go to Duquesne.
A lot of people who didn't go to Firehouse will be like, yo, that's racist, Ed. A lot of people who went to Firehouse like, yo, it was mad Africans in there with scarves on. I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. Firehouse is it's the standard for diversity for me. For clubbing.
You could be anybody you wanted to be in that place.
Whatever the fuck, and you went there.
I loved it.
I love that shit. But I go to Voodoo now.
Oh man,
we get the same thing, man.
And you
We're
get the
proud of
same
that.
thing. You
We're
get
super
people
proud
in
of
there
it.
playing board games. You get people in there who are super into craft.
We podcasted. There were kids.
Yeah, we're children. In
Kids
that
right like next to
Man,
us.
we've got it. I mean, I think that
And
that's...
the parents were like, no, it's cool.
Well,
like,
no, they were.
Just watch your F-bombs. But other than that, like they've heard everything else. And like, oh, word? Oh, I'm about to say a bunch of shit. I'm about to say everything.
No, but I got to add to it. I mean, I think if there's one thing that we're super proud of, I mean, we had the pleasure of opening up our third location. We had a small little retail joint in Conneaut Lake Park that just like you could come, get a beer, walk around Conneaut Lake Park. Super cool, right? Like you can go to the potato patch and then stop by and get a Voodoo beer and walk around the park. But it was small, and we wanted to do something a little bigger, and we did Erie, which is where I'm from. We did Erie, and we opened up in September.
Well, Erie is known for brewing and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: like, we're getting diversity up there that doesn't exist in that city and never has. So, like, as a business owner that's kind of sitting back and watching it, and we have eclectic food, and you know what? If you're into having, some pizza. We got that. But if you're also into having some really challenging, crazy, Southern inspired, chicken and waffle situation, and then you put our beer into the situation.
Well, that Voodoo truck is amazing. I actually had I had some of those tacos.
Man.
I always get the tacos ordered because there's always some like crazy ass shit on the truck or whatever.
Anytime you
But
can
we
get
were over-
tacos, you're probably gonna go tacos.
But like the tacos that they have are crazy. Like I had some of them. They were down at a Brutal Festival.
Yeah, we did candied beef. No, we did. I remember.
It was like a pork. It was like a pork taco with some cabbage on top, or whatever, and maybe some mangoes or something like that. Like it was a fruity, porky, spicy.
We do
type.
it, man.
But like it was down there at Brutal Festival, and that's it. Like the food there is like it's one of those few. And like I look at like Shoe Brew. Shoe Brew is great. They got great. They got great food and they've got great beer. And like I look at Voodoo, like when you go down to Homestead, like they've got the Voodoo truck and it has great.
Well, no, we have a full kitchen now, man.
You have
the
a full
Voodoo
kitchen
truck
down
can roll now, and now we have a full kitchen in Homestead.
Well,
You have a
when
whole
you
kitchen
can
full?
link,
Yep.
See,
I would say when
It's
you
cool
can
if you
link,
support everybody else except for us.
if
man.
you can, no. Again, I'm up the street. And you're never there when I go in, so I can't
Thanks for blowing up my spot, man.
reference the purchases. Like I was telling Dave, like I actually went to chill with Dave because we do chill outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
We went and chilled the other night, and I went and I got a growler of the Grand Met because I know he really likes the Grand Met.
Yeah.
And like anytime you go to like a gathering,
That's the GM, by the way.
Yeah.
You got it right in
Like,
front. I didn't know if you caught
You
that.
know
All
what?
right.
I didn't know that's what that meant until I drank
Yeah,
it, and I was like, oh.
So hold on, because we're chilling and we're doing it.
drunk.
So for the
podcast,
listeners, we're grown now, all right? So when you show up to gatherings, bring something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's it.
like don't
show
just
up at it.
don't show up with your personality.
Yep. So you've got
bring
it's
some
like
shit.
we bought Grand Mat, our new single hop. We've got Beach Gear, Kill Pills,
Well, we're gonna-
Voodoo.
we're gonna
we're gonna go through all this.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna we're gonna go through
But
all
the
of that.
Dude, I got a babysitter tonight, man. It's on.
But
Yeah,
the foundation of it is what you can do, and this is real shit. And this is coming from a guy who was not in the craft before the podcast. When you're showing up to these gatherings, if you can identify, and I really love that I live down the street from Voodoo, I can always go into Voodoo, grab a beer, put it in a growler, show up to an event, and be like,
Somebody
yo,
drinks it.
I brought this to this. We brought that Grand Met, and the host was like, yo, what you want to drink? I'm like, yo, I'm going to just fuck with the Grand Met. That everybody's like, that's what I was going to do. So then it becomes a thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I
man, that makes me
contributed
so
this,
proud, dude. You don't even know.
and I left my growler there, and he already had a Voodoo growler. So I'm going to go back and collect. 'Cause I'm taking that growler back because it's $5 off of my next 64 ounces. You know what I'm saying? But it's important. Like, and I think what's really cool about you guys is there's a beer for everyone.
Yeah, the
And-
variety, and that's the and again, I say this, and again, not just because you guys are the Cavs, whatever. You have the best 12-pack on the market. And
Oh, and he's been saying that for at least
I've been
6
saying that. I've been
years
saying
of
it.
the-
I've been saying it
He's
since
been
the
saying
beginning
that for
of
a
this.
while.
I've been saying that.
And I agree. There's a beer for everyone.
There's that
in Voodoo.
6-pack you get because you get two beers and you get
Seal breaker's
6
a
of
deal
them.
breaker.
And they range from like 7 to like 10%. So your variety in there, you get the killer pills. You know what I mean? You get your Grand Mix, you get your fruity and a Voodoo, you get your brown. You know what I mean? Like it's it's diverse, it's great, it's strong too. You know what I mean? And like for the price of it, like when I'm walking around or whatever, I'm going to, like if I'm going to a random party, I know that I can grab that 6-pack. One is gonna be appreciated because Voodoo is appreciated.
Man,
and
you guys are like making me feel so flattered.
and two, there's going to be something in there for everybody. If you like Pilsners, if you're a
Sure.
I mean, you're going to get a good Pilsner. You're going to realize, you know what I mean?
That's the thing about craft brewing nowadays. So, I mean, I think that there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of things. And as we were talking just before we hopped on for the listeners, you know, to be in craft brewing, you are all in. There's no halving it anymore. You're all in financially. You're all in as a person. You're all in professionally. Your family's all in. You're working 7 days a week. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a bartender, whether you're an owner, whether whatever it is. So like, I think our challenge, the thing that's made Voodoo as successful as it has been, especially in the last couple of years, has been an incredibly diverse product line.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and there's a lot of guys that are popping up, and I think that they're doing, you know, super amazing things. You know, for us though, I want you to have, if you're a stout guy, I need you to walk into my joint and be stoked about my stout.
Yeah, there's a lot of breweries.
If you're an IPA guy, I want you to walk in and know that I have an IPA that you're excited about. And I think that if you can hit that nail on the head in a centric way, and then I think the last time that we did the podcast, I kind of talked like the trifecta in my mind of like what Voodoo Brewing Company is like music, beer, food, art. You're hanging out and it gives it all to it. And like we kicked off talking about diversity a little bit. I mean, go to any of our spots and we're proud of all of them. They all have their own personality and they all kind of have that. And anybody can go in there and have fun and enjoy something. And it all starts with the beer.
And you got trippy ass fucking art on the walls. I actually went to, I did a beer crawl, the Erie Trail, like in beer crawl or whatever.
Oh, did you do that?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah,
Right
I did that
on,
a
man.
little earlier or whatever. And
Wait,
we
didn't you say you
ended-
used to hang out up in Erie?
No,
right?
my BM is from Erie, and I don't know how to approach this subject, but I'm not a fan of Erie. The lake.
Oh, no. Hold on. I got to interrupt. So the last time that we podcasted, my mother listened to it, and I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, and I had some choice things to say about it. And she was not happy about the things that I had to say. But hey mom, so I know you're listening a little bit right now and you're going to be listening. So I love Erie, Pennsylvania, but no, on a serious level,
that Lake Winnipeg is a thing. But like when I was there, I was there in say like 2006, and that was before you had like because I believe what is it, Erie Brewing was there.
Sure.
But you know, there's a lot of the other breweries, Erie Brewing, Erie Ale,
Lavery,
Works,
Jason and
Lavery,
Nicolai Lavery, yep.
They weren't, you know, there or whatever. So like when I was there, all it was like cold and Walmart. Like that was the only like really things. It was like wind and Walmart.
Everywhere.
But this was the only thing that I had to look forward to. But like now, like you know, we did that trail or whatever.
Yep.
Super dope. I went up to Sprague.
Man, you want to check it out?
Oh yeah, we did that.
Oh man,
and we came
I love
down,
drinking beer there.
and then we ended.
Brian and Minnie, who own Sprague, are such good people.
It's in a barn. The space is
great.
crazy. I mean, and we ended the trail at in Meadville at the and that was the first time because I had been to Homestead. I've been drinking Voodoo for like so long. It was the first time I actually went to your like your brewery in Meadville, and like the walls and everything you had on, and the food in there or whatever. What was the poutine? It had a little bit of that cracking, and it was the first time I actually got to get that was the first time I actually had a Good Vibes on tap.
Someone forgot a Good Vibes hat.
Yeah.
On tap. Oh.
No, I mean, going back to like we kicked off with Erie, I can tell you that from everything that I've done in small business as a person post-military, I've never been so proud to open up that joint. I used to talk mad shit to like all my buddies in high school and in college. I said, you know what, I'm gonna have a spot someday on State Street, and they'd be like, no, dude, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And like now we have one, and it's
is that where you open up right on State Street?
Right on State, and we've had the Erie community open up to us like we've never known. I mean, so I'm from there, and you know, and a couple of our other partners are from there. But at the end of the day, you know, our company's always been headquartered in Meadville, and then we cannonballed into Pittsburgh. You know,
Yeah.
like who are these dudes? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then Erie was kind of the same thing, and the community's been amazing to us. And the place is huge. It's in the old Boston store, right on State. It's a historic spot, and you know, I think that Erie was really ready for something that was not your regular kind of run of the mill situation. So now these dudes show up. You guys don't have Bud Light here? We're like, no, we definitely don't have Bud Light.
We getting you fucked up for real.
You know what I mean?
Do you know me?
Y'all want some?
You know,
if
so-
you want a bottled water, just let me know. Like,
It's a lot of the, you know, it's a
I
lot
can
of the
piss in
education.
a glass if you'd like. That's always available.
You know,
Somebody's always got. There's a toilet in the back.
not gonna-
You can just dip your glass and have a good time. Like, we're not going to charge you for it.
We're stoked about it though. I mean, so like I said, I mean, going back to like 2016 and, you know, doing the Erie pub, and now, I mean, actually I was told to put you guys on the spot. So January 27th, Friday, 7 o'clock, we're doing the grand opening of our brand new production facility. It
we can
is,
do that because our show's
Yeah, our show's the 28th.
Yep.
So the 27th is
So,
Yep, so it's-
if you want us to get fucked up the day before our show, of course.
So it's 18,000 square feet. So I've been
You can have 12 square feet. I don't give a fuck.
we can do it.
Yeah, we've been brewing on a small
The
brewing
HUD
system.
house.
You know, like the thing. HUD house.
I've drunk in a trap house before. I was 2 square feet away from a crackhead freemason. And
Stop it.
and I was taking shots. So I don't give a fuck.
18,000 square feet, you said?
Yeah, so you know, I've been kind of coining it as this, as you know, as our business has grown and we had a big year. You know, everything that we've done within our company has always been to get a new brewery, to get a big brew house, to be able to really push beer out. You know,
Because it's been smallish. I just.
Oh man, so
like
I gotta shout out to Kurt. He's one of my closest friends. He's also our master brewer. He brews 365 days a year
Goddamn.
because our brewery and
That's
our brew
dedication.
house in Meadville is so small.
You know,
that to meet our
it
demand.
doesn't look like a brew. Like it, you know what I mean?
Do you
Like, it just
understand
looks like
that
kind of a
dedication?
ball.
Dude works, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he works, and it's right behind the
Understand
walls.
that dedication. 365 means there's no vacations. Like
No,
you're not.
he doesn't
get it.
Ain't no
Ain't-
all-inclusive trips to Jamaica.
no
No, you there,
vacation
fam. You in Meadville
Until I
exactly
fulfill
once a day.
my vocation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So you know, it's always been about getting this big brew house. So we're moving to a 30-barrel brew house. We bought a site. It's about 10 acres. We found a building on it that we didn't even know we owned the other day, and I'm serious. And
Love life.
You're like,
For all you people out here struggling, aspire
Stop it.
to
No,
find
that
a
isn't-
building
you
that
can't do
you
that.
own that you didn't know
Dude,
you owned.
it was like a little shack made out of cinder blocks back in, like, trust me, you don't want to own
I
this
don't
building.
go. Yeah, you do.
that's
You
wood.
definitely
Like,
want to find out you own a building.
shit,
That's
you could have a
building
bonfire
you own.
just on that. And
You could just burn that down for the insurance money. It's so many, so many things you can do with a building that you own that you didn't know you owned.
Yeesh. You know that? Oh man.
Oh, this is
on.
a claim.
But no, we
Let
gotta
me
get back
light
to
this
it.
black and mild and then drop it on this. Drop it on this floor.
Throw a crazy ass house party.
So now we're opening up. It's our big deal right now. Everything we've done has led up to this point. We're ready to. So we've always had the ability to legally sell beer in Jersey, New York, the entire state of PA, and Ohio. But it's always been like, yo, man, I hear you can do it. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy named Bob who knows another guy. Can we get one of your kegs of Love Child? And the answer's always been no, because we can't make it.
Wait, you haven't distributed outside of PA?
No, so we've licensed, yes.
Yeah.
Actually done it a couple times, sent like a pallet here, a couple
But
cases
that's
there.
not your. Yeah, you haven't. That hasn't been.
So
Wow.
starting here, so we're gonna do our first brew this week. So like when I say like from my like family and like everybody that's known us from the dead, like you guys have actually known us for a
Yeah.
little while now. This is it.
Yeah.
Like we're finally there, and it's meant a lot to us, and we've done a lot. We've done things like canning, our barrel age stuff that we've done, that we release every single
barrel
year.
age.
I brought one, but I gave it to
one?
your boy over there.
Ooh, which one is barrel? So
No. Who the fuck took the barrel age?
Yeah.
You took the barrel age, Buzzy? Are you kidding me?
So no. Well, I do want to touch on this because this is very important.
Motherfucker.
So between the last time we podcasted with you at Voodoo and now, you all have become an employee-owned company, right? Like
You've always been an employee.
I've never been, well, besides, so I'm saying it twice now. So I talked about like, I was so proud of opening up a joint on State Street, but I can tell you that I literally have like teared up and like get goosebumps talking about transitioning into an employee-owned company. So what we did, so at the end of the day, our company had the ability to restructure kind of in an equity way, right? So like, I'm not our brewer, I'm our kind of like a little business nerd guy, right? You know what I mean? So
you got to have a mixture.
yeah, so we basically found a way to say like, hey guys, like, you know what? We're not just gonna have you as a barback, as a bartender, as a cook, as a floor sweeper, as an anybody. Just work your butt off for us, and you know what? I'm gonna grow this multi-million company or whatever it is.
Well,
we're obviously not
pay
there
you
yet.
for your labor and exploit the shit
what I mean?
out of you like most companies.
Yep.
Well,
So at the end of the day, like our barback, our everybody, they are now my business partners.
Well, and that's the thing is that like I grew up in the restaurant industry. Fucking busting tables and waiting tables, and I've had every position that you can possibly have in a restaurant. And the managers that and just in business in general, but this lesson I learned in the restaurant industry, managers in general that I enjoyed to work for are the managers that like wanted to get down to the nitty gritty.
Sure.
Nothing was above their time.
Sure.
It was like if it needed to be done, they did it.
Do
right?
you guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I love
Dude, our owners. So our ownership team. So the guys that kind of founded it, we still do Charlie work, man.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm not afraid of Charlie work.
And the thing is that like when you feel like it's a team, as if everybody is working towards the same goal, because when you have a minute, then you're more invested. And then when you have a business that you're working for, where the time you put in actually you'll get back.
Well, here's the thing: when you can make the statement, if it's more profitable, then it's more profitable for me.
Yes.
That gives you an incentive to make it more profitable. I've worked jobs where, I can put in my all and make this a super profitable business, and I'll get recognition. But it doesn't necessarily make it more profitable.
It's a way it's a way we can give back. I mean, it's the least selfish thing that I think a company could do.
I think it's the smartest thing.
It was along the lines of like, this is like, so from a competitive advantage side of it, this is how we continue to be the best regional brewery.
Yeah.
And I'll get cocky on it, and I think that we are,
Well,
arguably one of the best regional breweries.
I drink your shit all the time. I don't drink.
So this is how we stay to where we're
at,
at, because you know what, the guy that's sweeping the floors has the opportunity to not only move to bartender, to move to manager, to move to general manager, to move to food truck manager, to move whatever it is that he wants to move to, but also every single time that he says, hey man, you know what we've been doing? Wasting latex gloves. We spent a G on those last month,
Right.
And check it because it's my share price too. Now what you've done is you haven't built like a business. You built kind of like a community.
Yes.
Well,
You built a group of people that are working towards a common goal.
now
and
have a
that's why we are making things that
Exactly.
we're making right
It's
now.
like-
you have
it's a
everybody.
hive mind.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
everybody's on the same
Yeah.
fucking wavelength. It's
And
like,
if you
yo,
get
how
people
do we
invested-
create profit? How do we? You need to go. Yeah, go ahead. Everybody needs to create profit, create wealth, and in most businesses, people at the higher ups exploit workers to create wealth.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have a business, I have a product, I need you to sell that product. You don't make any extra money for selling that product. That is a function of your position.
Yeah.
But with Voodoo, it's like, look, we make more money, you make more money.
Yeah, and it takes away that I don't know, like risk reward factor, or with the basically when I go to a job and I know that I'm getting paid, whether it's per hour or salary.
All
or
I got to
whatever,
do is
all I
maintain the job.
Yeah, this is as long as I'm putting up this much. Then I'm going to maintain this job.
I'm
and
Gucci
I'm good.
bandana.
But if the ceiling, if there's no glass ceiling,
Yeah.
with what I'm doing, and that's what with what we're doing, and that's what and you called out often on the podcast, this millennial, like this new age where like we don't look at jobs like our parents looked at jobs, where it was like you graduate, you get a degree, and then you get into a job and you stick to it for 40 years.
Right.
It's you need to take the reins of your own. Like
I'm a firm believer that most new companies and companies that exist need to examine the millennial culture extensively, because at the end of the day, there are new opportunities. Even if you're very profitable in your business plan now, there are new opportunities presented where it's low cost for entry. you can I don't want to say exploit, but you can find individuals who will move those causes forward and provide incentive for them to doing so. That's why Instagram models are popping right now.
Yeah.
That's why there's
They have the means of production.
That's why there's a chick called Juicy Baby 424 with 875,000 Instagram followers who's getting paid off having people view her or fucking live Instagram feeds, because there's a culture of individuals who follow certain mediums and will follow brands because of those mediums. And not everything is because I go into a bar and find that drink. It could be, yo, Shorty had on a t-shirt that said Voodoo. Yeah. What is that? Or, yo, I got some pussy off a chick online who loves Voodoo. Like, it could be anything.
And that's and again, a large part of corporate waste is the fact that there's such a disconnect between the management and the bottom down. And like you were saying,
the bottom down has a voice now.
Yeah, it has a voice, and they know it better than you could possibly know.
And we've gotten way better because of it.
With that gloves thing. Yeah, I mean, where you're like, yo, we're wasting a lot of money. I've been in jobs where I was like, why the fuck are we doing this? It's because the people that think, why the fuck are we doing this, don't have any, like, I didn't have a phone to the manager and be like, yo, we're wasting gloves or whatever. And when you bring
it works
that
in other ways too, though.
And then when you have that top down, like, that back to front, everybody's communicating or whatever, you find genius in people that, like, because everybody has a different life.
Don't know that they have genius.
Yeah, like, so I came in when I was a busboy. People just looked at me as a busboy. They didn't know.
If they don't look at you as a partner, you're never empowered.
They just saw me as a busboy. They didn't know that I had these ideas that may have, and because of that, I was like, well, fuck you. I'm gonna just, I'm gonna work this job. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna find some other shit to keep myself moving. Whereas you could have utilized me to keep us moving. You know what I mean?
My short order cook. I'll even give him a shout out. He's one of my favorite people that I work with now. His name's Dakota.
His name's Dakota. Because of
no. He came to me. And he was like, well, no, I shouldn't say he came to me because he was a little shy, a little timid. And he came to me and he said, "Hey, I'm really good at art." I was like, all right, check it. You've seen my space. You were just there the other day. You notice how the art changed a little bit. Now everything's has a different flair to it. But he also was like, hey, I want to be a bigger part of what we do here when it comes to art and the way that we design and market things and everything. You know what he does right now? He does that.
Yeah,
because he provided value. And I don't think that I think that by just even the notion of going to an employee-owned company, I think that these, as you can tell, I'm passionate by it because I'm talking with my hands and all this stuff. But like
that is a key.
You can see that these guys all of a sudden they realize they're like, whoa, these dudes are a little bit different that I work with. And
they're invested in the specific brand as opposed to getting ahead. I've been working for this brand. I have ideas. I can enhance this brand, and there's opportunity. Opportunity outside of, I need to accumulate this many degrees. I need to accumulate this many credentials. If I can go to an owner, an investor, or something, be like, I have this idea. This will create this sort of value. Let's do this. And somebody's like, let me evaluate that. You know what I mean? Because I've been working in the corporate world, and it's just like, I'm looked at as a valuable employee, but that only goes so far because at the end of the day, value changes on your job grade.
Sure.
In most companies, value changes on your job grade. So,
I did it.
Yeah.
Man, I was a corporate guy right when I got out of the Army, man. That was a pool.
Then you understand value changes on your job grade. And it has nothing to do with how much money you can create or how much culture you can create.
You can provide value at a lower job grade more than the guy above you. And it doesn't matter because you're not at that grade.
Because what they won't acknowledge and they won't say is most purchases are at the lower job grade. Most purchases, like think about, like
pens, pencils, that kind of stuff.
I work at a bank, right? Think about this. Most people who open accounts, most of the money that they take and lend come from motherfuckers coming in and open an account where they're gonna receive Social Security or a fucking direct deposit from Home Depot.
Sure.
Most of their money comes from that. So the more valuable employees really are individuals who can speak to that demographic. People who can be like, take your shit. Let's make your credit go well. Let's get your shit popping so you can invest totally into this bank. So we're just taking your money and flipping it.
Sure.
But they devalue that and be like, oh, this guy who can delegate to those people gets paid more. He's more valuable. But no, he's not. He's not more valuable than the guy in a fucking branch in West Bumblefuck who's taking everybody. Think about it. If a dude can go to West Bumblefuck and get that entire,
I like that you used it again, nailed it.
Take that entire community and say, listen, everybody get jobs, and everybody take those jobs and get those jobs direct deposited into these accounts, and then borrow from this bank, and then do this, that, and the, get your mortgage from this bank, get your line of credit from this bank, get all that shit. This is how that shit works.
He showed his ass.
But look at the.
I'm not showing my ass. This is how this shit works.
Look at the passion. Look at the passion coming.
But this is how that shit works. And you don't see it until you're in it, and then you see something different. So now that I'm doing a podcast and I'm seeing all of these people who are small business owners, and they're saying, yo, I want to invest in my employees. Like looking at Voodoo and saying, yo, it's an employee-owned distributor who's widely popular. So any guy in that who has an idea, who will continually invest in the actual brand. Like, I'm a fucking table buster. I'll go out and I'll bust the shit out of these tables and sell that new beer.
It's easier to get that than it is to recruit somebody at the top. That's, you know what I mean? Because, like, it costs super, you know what I mean? Like, if you're looking at CEOs.
It's more cost for the top.
Yeah, like, to the top. But if you get a CEO that's going to have a new fucking plan and, like, the whole nine or whatever, as opposed to cultivating the talent that you already have within.
The CEO don't have a new plan. He's just been really good at doing the plan at other places.
Yeah.
I ain't coming here for less than 6 figures. Yeah. So fuck what you talking about. If I ain't getting 6, then I'm going to go over to this bank, as opposed to be like, look, I'm coming in for $30,000 and I can turn into 50 if I turn this into a more
another 150. I mean, like, I think that was one of the things, you know, we talked about. I think in the very beginning when we started filming, I mean, people in the craft beer industry, you got to understand something. This is craft brewing is more than just a job. It is a lifestyle.
It's a small business.
And it's a small business. It's everything. It means everything to us. It's when we wake up in the morning. It pays our bills. It takes care of our families. It takes care of our friends.
Industry.
Where it's this like a crazy kind of community that comes together. So like for me, how do I continue to grow that? For me, I grab guys that are on that lower level, like we were talking about, and say, guys, grow this thing with me so you can be a bigger part of it.
You grab people at the most influential levels. Because people say lower levels, but think about the lower levels.
They're the guys.
They touch the most people.
Exactly.
They're the guys.
They say most of the country's wealth is in that top 1%. So 99% of the wealth is distributed amongst quote unquote lower levels. So
I got to look them in the eye though too. Like for me, like you can
be real with a motherfucker and be like, look, you ain't gonna get rich, but you can make a living.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, so I was talking to the guys out there before we popped in. I mean, so I come from a military background. So like for me, right, I got, I was a platoon leader in Afghanistan. I got 50 guys below me. And if I don't take care of these dudes, I'm literally going to die.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, no bullshit. So how about that?
Niggas might not take that shot.
Let me get some hua. So, right. It's like, so you grab this little hua, this little young snuffy, right? He's 18 and you're like, hey dude, do me a favor. Here's your grenades, your machine guns. When this dude starts trying to fight us, you're going to shoot back to keep me alive, right? So like take that, like that taking care of the people below you, that brotherhood, whatever. Now apply that to a small business.
Yes.
And how do you do that? So like for me as a small business leader, as an owner, as a guy that's kind of sitting at the top of that period, is how do I continue to make sure that goes down to that level and that exact same type of loyalty that you have that was in, was basically in the military. So like, to me, doing the ESOP, like at the end of the day, like I have a mentor who I talk to probably like once every other month. He's a good buddy of mine. He's a retired executive and he's a former military guy. And he's like, what was your biggest success this year? And I'm like, it was the fact that I was able to display my values from the military onto the people that work with me in a small business. So I've done that. If you take those values, you get that. I shouldn't say.
I think a lot of people don't realize that the military is a business.
I just want to say, I mean, like I don't talk about what I do in my daytime ever.
You do.
What do you do?
So
he does talk about it. I'm
actually curious now that I know what you do.
Buzzy, here we go. Buzzy, does Day talk about what he does in his daytime as a job?
Not on the podcast.
Exactly.
You a fucking
Hell
liar.
no. It's
You
not
a
what I do.
fucking liar.
It's not what
He
I do.
don't
I
fucking
actually,
say-
I'll tell you. But
You
anyway,
don't say that I've worked with so and so, and in my day job.
I will
this,
give
that,
you
and third.
hints or whatever. Yeah, I mean,
That's
nobody knows
hints
what
I'm
I
talking
do.
about.
You gotta tell me after.
But no,
Buzzy, you gotta go.
anyway,
I never said this.
He
but
knows.
Buzzy,
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta go. Like
anyway,
you lied to me to my face. I
A
don't
large
trust
part of
you.
my job is finding employment for vets and military members.
Sure.
What I'm saying is that, like, a large issue is that you have vets or soldiers who have had this, a lot of training experience or whatever. They don't know how to, like,
How do you equate it?
Equate it to the civilian world
Sure.
or whatever. You know what I mean, and you see, like, there's a lot
And
of
you've never
a lot
said
of those,
this before.
No, a lot of those values, like you're saying, that camaraderie, of that brotherhood or whatever. You get that, and that is why, I mean, like, you might, as an employer, you might want to hire a vet. You know what I mean, like, and look at that.
Next podcast that we do, it's got to be not like separate from Voodoo, because obviously it's who I am and like how I'm growing it. But I got to talk to you guys about the veteran community in Pittsburgh.
Well,
we
the
would
vet
love
community,
What's up, dude?
actually, and
It's what's
that,
up.
that is something we should talk about because
We actually
both encountered the vet community in two different ways.
I got a big project coming, guys. Check out my Facebook page.
Yeah.
Go look at what I got going on there right now, and you're gonna know that I'm up to something
What we
real
will
crazy.
say
Well, we
here,
actually, because I build partnerships in the community.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like,
I think
and,
we
and
can all
businesses.
agree that vets are taken advantage of.
Very much so.
Yeah, I think we can
both ends of the
all
spectrum,
agree on
all,
that.
Yeah,
And that's something that we should explore further.
Yeah.
And what's cool about that is you have a different perspective. You have a perspective
Sure.
as a vet, and I have a
We should do a-
perspective actually just
should do a-
dealing with vets' money. Like I deal with vets' money. And that's something we should talk about.
yeah.
We should do a podcast, and we have a new arcade coming in Voodoo Homestead.
Oh yeah,
Pretty excited about it.
arcade, like video games.
So check it. So you guys know we
So I
bought
can
this
go
whole
there and
building.
play
You guys have been
Mario
there?
Kart?
With the dual little steering wheels, dude.
Fuck it.
There's only one problem with it, is that I'm gonna whoop your ass so bad that it's gonna
I don't
be-
care.
see.
Anytime I can throw
Now
a
you're writing a-
shell,
now you're writing
if I
a
can
check.
slide a
I
shell.
know you know a lot about
don't need
business,
shells.
but right now you're writing a check that your ass can't cash.
Oh,
Talking
wait,
about some
so.
Mario
Oh,
Kart.
they don't know
Talking about
how
Mario Kart.
They
I've
don't
never
know
lost.
how
I've
Mario
never
Kart
lost a Mario
infected the
Kart.
hood. There were two video games
Don't
that
even
hit
go
the
there.
hood crazy: Mario Kart and
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
No,
GoldenEye.
it hit. Wait, you gotta be about my
GoldenEye?
age, right?
Yo,
Why has there
Ed, how
not
old-
been a GoldenEye 2?
Ed, how old are you? How old are
I'm
you?
30.
So you're my age. I mean, I'm a little older than you. 32, about to turn 33. But dude, our generation, it wasn't the hood.
Oh.
it was right
was
now.
a hood
People
thing
that
for us,
people that
though.
are 28 to 35, man, Mario Kart and GoldenEye. You were like, what are you doing
The
here?
reason I
Super
say
Smash
that
Brothers.
the
No,
reason
Shout out to
the
Super
reason
Smash
I
Brothers.
say hood.
Super Smash
no,
Brothers.
no,
What?
no,
Super
no,
Smash
no.
Brothers didn't hit the hood like GoldenEye. The reason I say hood is because
Get the body armor.
GoldenEye, you needed one dude with a system.
That's all you needed.
You needed
that was a
one
first.
dude with a
Yeah, yeah,
system.
Yeah.
If he had the system,
Stop looking at my screen.
I could get my own controller.
Yeah, you'd be like, you over here looking.
Dun, 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 dun. And if I got that golden done and he was gone on one shot, bah,
The golden, yeah.
I soldier boyed you.
All right, so I want to.
Is that dude still around?
Yeah, he just did. You
Soldier
didn't
Boy,
see
there
the
was a
Soldier
whole,
Boy
man,
challenge?
I can't. Look. Before we get into that, I actually want to get into our beers. So let's take us through these beers and give us a whole.
More important than getting to the beers, I think it's very important that you guys expand, you change, you guys move with the culture. You guys started canning now.
We did. So we're gonna keep canning too. So
You got the Crowlers, the 16, you got the Pounders. Oh wait.
I brought a
haven't
can.
had this yet.
Well, I
So
brought
what's-
more of it. So all right. So canning in general. So the way that we're doing it, and I think the most smaller craft breweries in the area are doing it is.
hold on. Courtesy of Fuzzy.
There you go.
That's that. We just opened.
Is that the Venti?
That's
we
the
just
Venti.
opened a can of Venti. That was the sound of Venti. We actually, you should isolate that.
We
should
really
just use
drink
that.
this shit. Like,
Sure.
That's how I knew it was the Venti because I went to Voodoo the other day. So
So
talk about getting into canning and what do you have canned right now?
So I mean, I think the whole conception of us canning really began with. So we're throwing a big party this year. We're gonna do a music festival, kind of location, details, all that stuff to be announced. Called Good Vibes Festival. After our IPA, our Imperial IPA, Good Vibes, West Coast style
Good
IPA.
vibes.
So we were kind of like, hey, let's do something special for this. Let's do a canning run. So we had a mobile canner come and do a quick canning run of some of the beer, and people got really excited about it. It was not a thing that like we just kind of thought like, oh cool, so we're gonna put beer in cans, and it's the beer that we obviously have pretty readily available. And now we're going to do it every month. So essentially once a month, the mobile canner is going to come to Voodoo. That's going to keep happening. Our goal is to kind of keep that stock, up. So it's not as rare of a release as our barrel aged stuff.
So you're not going to like can a bunch of shit and then ship it out. Like cans are still pretty...
No, it'll stay pub centric for sure. So, either, Homestead, Meadville, Erie, those are our big three right now. You're going to be able to get the cans there. And just as we do everything, we announce the day of on Facebook.
Okay.
And it's important for us to talk a little bit about that because people wonder, they're like, why can't I get, I've been a Voodoo fan for years. Why can't I pop into your pub? Why can't I know that I can take a day off of work and drive to whatever pub?
So I'll ask two questions. One, what are the barriers to entry with canning? And two, what are the advantages of doing so? And how do those kind of, cause like I went in last night and I bought some Grand Met. I put it in a growler because it's not available to be canned, and I went to chill with my boy.
Sure.
Now, me and my boy drink. Me and Dave.
We drink
We drink. Craft all the time. Yeah. I know you can't get everything at Voodoo on can. So what are the barriers to canning? What are the advantages of canning certain things? And what can we look forward to as far as things that will be canned in the future?
Sure. So that was, right on it.
that was 105 episodes, man.
Sure.
I'm glad
I'm in this shit now.
So first off, so look at it this way. So canning beer is an expensive process. So a cheap canning line, I'm talking like the equivalent of like an 89 busted up Honda Civic with like, you know what I mean? Like that type of canning line, you're looking at a quick 300 Gs.
So there's levels to this shit.
Wow.
Oh, man, that's a cheap one. So check it. So quick 300 Gs, you might be able to find something a little cheaper than that. But at the end of the day, you're going to be looking for parts for it. You're going to be fixing it all the time. So what's happened with the craft beer revolution.
It's the Hyundai of canning.
So everything in craft beer.
The Sinatra?
No, wait, Daewoo. It's the Daewoo.
The Daewoo.
So, I busted out Daewoo there. So, essentially everything in craft beer, right, is on a bell curve. So everything exists, with a top of the bell curve and all of those things. So right now there's all kinds of people out there looking to get those canning lines. The price might be a little bit more expensive. I think it was last year, maybe the year before, we bought ourselves finally a good bottling line. We had been bottling with just this old archaic thing that was actually, I think it was British made, sent to India, shipped back over to the US. I mean,
it's seen some things.
We've never had funding behind us. Everything that we've done has always been, from the ground up. You know what I mean? Like make things work that work. So you're talking about barriers to entry is like initial cost is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So,
the advantage.
What's ended up happening is that there's dudes that run mobile canning lines now. And these dudes are cool. So what they do is they show up with a truck and they fold that thing out of the back of their truck like a transformer ass mobile craft beer thing. Yeah.
More than meets the eyes.
Yeah. So no, I mean they fold it up and they essentially put that into your spot. Sometimes they show up the night before, sometimes they show up the day of, and then you essentially hook up your lines to it. And you throw your beer through that system, you can throughout the entire day. You have everything kind of ready for them, whatever. And then at the end of the day, when you've pushed all the beer you have through that line, they transformer it back up into their truck, and then they go on their way and they go to the next brewery that wants to go and do it.
Canning truck roll out.
So you talk about barriers to entry. So like if you look at it as a small business case, I mean, so did we have the ability to bring our product in a different way to an innovative market? The craft beer is all about innovation. Right. So at the end of the day, you have a customer base that, now they might have one product and they want it in a different way or a different taste or just some little new variation of it the way that you want to do it.
Well, just like millennials. We always want to have our shit different or next level than the last shit.
Got to be a little bit new. So, you can get it out to the product in that way. However, if you really put it into a real spreadsheet, you really depreciate that thing down and what you spend for that dude to come there at the end of the day, I'll make way more money, or a craft brewery, I shouldn't even say a craft brewery will make way more money by basically go ahead and spending that $300,000.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, it really is all about cost.
There's the what do you call it?
Yeah, I don't know that term.
What I
So
want to
essentially
do,
what you're saying
But, like,
is
what I wanna
it is
do-
more profitable to fully invest in canning than it is to find shortcuts to canning.
no. It's easier to get the shortcut to candy.
No, because
like,
those dudes are boys.
Easier,
but like there's
Easier, but is it more profitable is what I'm saying.
It's more profitable. Like from what I'm understanding, it's more profitable to just have a guy come through
And
with his
can
canning
that
spot.
shit. Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're looking at your output and how much. Yeah, I mean, like as with like. Now, I'd imagine once you start shipping nationally and you have the whole nine, then yeah, you would have to invest in that. But like where you're
Sure.
at now, it's much more profitable to
Yeah,
just
and-
because people can come and be like, you know what, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to get some cans. Because like, the thing about growlers is that like a week is about as much as I would like to sit on a growler. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
maybe
Right, you
two
don't
pushing
want to
it,
sit past
and that's if it's
Unless
taped
you buy
up in the whole.
buy a good pala, like a good pala growler with like the like rubber seal on it. Do you like crank that thing?
That's what I'm saying.
around?
The seal,
Yeah,
and they got
get-
the tape around. Some
You can
people
get a little
tape
more than
other.
that.
Well,
Yeah,
The tape is all for show. Like,
most
man,
growlers-
with the heat gun, man.
And but with a can, you can
Yeah.
actually have that sit. Like,
Well,
'cause I don't
yeah.
honestly, as much as, and here's the thing, as much as I drink and as much as I do, like, I don't drink as much at home. And it's just because of my lifestyle, because I
Yeah.
do so much on the weekends or whatever. But like, if I'm in another place, say if I go out and if I, like, and I bring something home, like, I'm not going to drink that tonight. And I might not even drink that like
Yeah,
on
I think-
Sunday, but maybe 2 weeks from now.
Well, I will
like
say
2-3 weeks.
with a growler, from my understanding, and again, we approach this podcast. Day is more of the seasoned guy, I'm a newer guy, but my understanding of growlers is once you crack that,
It's done.
that's
Yeah,
what you're
that's
trying
it.
to do.
Yeah.
Drink it.
Yeah, once you
have to.
crack it,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And that's
with a
64
can,
ounces.
I can crack one can
Yeah.
and leave the other cans
Yeah.
and just refrigerate
Yeah.
them. So yeah, I definitely agree
Yeah.
with that.
So let's go through these beers.
Yeah, let's
And then bounce.
let's get more fucked up.
Because I want you to tell us
We
about
love
these
it.
beers. Because
So
this
for-
fucking single hop has been
Can I put this out
You know
for
what?
the
I'm not even
listeners?
sure. So the single hop series. So to go to that, and then we'll switch. We'll go to. So the single hop. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure which hop that is. I'll be able to tell if you give me a little bit of that. So our single hop series. It started out as a way that we could kind of throw one hop into the same backbone of a beer. It's
Can I just
it's
say that
Bavarian hops. Nailed it, guaranteed.
off a sip, he was like,
Yeah.
yes. So can I say this
On
to
the
the
nose.
listeners so you guys appreciate this podcast more? We podcast from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Everybody from Pittsburgh who has anything to do with this podcast are Steeler fans. We totally miss the Miami Steeler game.
Yeah, man, you know
Steelers
how
won.
I was dreading that shit the whole fucking day. I was like,
Well, we
yeah,
did-
Dave, are you from here?
Dave's
Yeah, I'm
from
from
Braddock.
Braddock.
So
That's right.
So-
Brew Gentleman, the whole John Fetterman.
he
Yeah,
was
that's a
he
tough
was
neighborhood
only
down
he was
there, buddy,
only
man.
Yeah, and then,
I feel safe when I cross the line into Homestead. I'm always like,
that says something.
Man.
Because if you feel safe in Homestead, you have been coming from a
hey
place.
man, don't be talking.
He's
about
only
Dude,
okay
the
with this
neighborhood's
podcast
charging.
because they played the Dolphins.
Do you
Like,
see what we got now in Homestead? We got all
We
kinds
knew
of
Oh,
good
no,
stuff.
you're good now. When I grew up,
Yeah.
Homestead. You remember the Pinkertons were in Homestead at some point.
Yep.
Let's just be history.
I live in Munhall. Ain't
Yeah.
shit happening in Homestead. All right, I've been there. You still need 2 years before you can be like, that's
Did
cool.
you see the new yoga studio?
I've
Yoga and
seen
spin studio?
They've had a new yoga studio that's come up. That's happened. They
No,
have-
we didn't. You
Hold
got,
on,
you
they
got,
have
you got Blue
condos
Dust,
that are
you got
coming-
Studio AM,
Blue
you got
Dust is-
Voodoo,
Dorothy
Dust
you
has
got
been
the
there.
Dorothy 6,
Eighth
you
and
got
Hayes.
the Watforders down there.
Speaking
Eighth
of
and
Dorothy
Hayes.
Six,
Have you
can
seen
I
that
say
joint?
Eight
this?
to the Hayes.
Eighth and Hayes, the Dukar family that owned Dukes just opened up a wine bar.
Dukes, I
Yeah, I
like.
didn't even know that.
Dude,
no,
it's
no.
badass.
Well, Homestead
Hold
is
the
badass.
fuck
Stop it.
on.
Fuck you mean he should go
Hold
to
the fuck
Homestead?
on.
I actually feel very.
Hold
I
up.
feel safe in Homestead.
You don't feel safe in Homestead
No, I
because you
definitely
still
do.
You guys
got to
ever
go
hop
off
in my
in the
truck?
cut.
There's always
Everything
a-
you named was on 8th Avenue, which is different. So, one,
Except for my joint, mine's on 9th.
your joint is one step up, and Voodoo is very safe. I will say, shout out to Homestead. They got the condos coming. Dorothy 6, every second and fourth Thursday of the month, I host an open mic at Dorothy 6.
Do you
Comedians
really?
are wealthy. Yeah, welcome. Yeah,
I had no
very
idea,
new.
man.
It was very new. So every second and fourth
Tom's my guy, man.
Thursday. Yeah, I really fuck with Dorothy 6. We do it upstairs. It's a very nice place. Let's see if we can incorporate you guys.
I'll throw beer at it.
Yeah, let's see if we
We'll
can
get Tom
incorporate you guys.
involved in
It's
it,
very
and we'll
new. It's very new. It's a very nice spot. We do shows we do once a month. We do like shows. We bring in people from out of town, etc. Cool. So Homestead is like, here's where Homestead is, where, in my opinion, it's where Braddock has been talking about. It's about taking places, putting people in place, generating small business. They're a little more aggressive with it, and I think they can do that because the waterfront's right there.
No way, dude. Let me tell you about it.
You don't think so?
I'm gonna bust your head up right here. So we had the ability to find that building in 2013, and there had basically been a whole bunch of people that had kind of laid. I always compare it to kindling.
Was a former firehouse.
My joint is.
Yeah.
And it was the original. So the firehouse that we're in was the statement of success of the Mon Valley.
Right.
So all of a sudden it was like a government agency
Well,
building
I went
this
to
like
Mon Valley
monolith.
initiative out there, which was
Sure.
was trying to get people jobs or something. Is what.
So
they did.
MVI, so I can talk
Yeah.
about those guys too. So as I came in, what ended up happening is that a brewery, I want to say a brewery came into a neighborhood where people had laid kindling within that neighborhood to create a fire for a long time, and then Voodoo was the spark. So we literally ignited a fire. Right after that, myself and a couple friends started a board called the Steel Valley Avenues Group, which is essentially a community redevelopment board that what we do is we ensure that if you are a small business owner, anybody who's looking to make waves in the Pittsburgh community, we want you to be a part of Homestead, and we have been wildly successful in
I
a
think-
really, really good way.
So do you not feel, and this is really this? So do you not feel like the fact that the waterfront being a draw is right there has affected that? Because here's what I'm saying.
It's made it worse. It's tax deferred, that they don't even pay taxes to the community that is above it.
Wait, the waterfront doesn't pay taxes to
It's
Homestead?
about to change.
Let's not be dry snitching on people.
No.
Drastic. Fuck the waterfront. The waterfront is a large, like, there's a lot of cool, like,
No, check it.
I'm not even, like, nah.
Hold on. Don't get too far into it. So here's the thing.
Because I'm not about businesses coming into a community and not like helping further
the
that
waterfront-
community.
So here's the problem with the
I need to
waterfront.
clarify this.
So here's what I'll say about the
I'm on it.
waterfront.
I got you. Trust me. I'm going to make you feel better.
All right.
So
I'm gonna make you
let
feel
me
better.
say this, and then So the waterfront, being an outsider, not from Pittsburgh, and I want to pour you this, but you got to finish that. Being an outsider,
Your own shit.
not from Pittsburgh, the waterfront and Homestead, and I tell a joke about this. Those are two different places.
Yeah. But I always assume
So as
that
a small business,
It's literally
I think you
the other
look at it
side of the
different.
tracks.
Yeah,
That's
no,
exactly
literally,
what it is. you know?
actually, literally, the interpretation
It really
of that
is.
is.
Yeah,
the
I
other side of the
completely
tracks,
understand.
yes.
I'm all
As a
about that.
small
Look.
business, you probably look at this differently based on legislation and shit like that. But the waterfront to me is totally different from Homestead, though they share the same zip code.
That's fine as long as those businesses are helping that community of Homestead grow.
But that's
and
why
if they're
I say,
not doing
but that's
that,
why I say
then I feel a certain way about
That's
that.
why I say they're two different entities, and I wonder how, from a legislative perspective, how they view that. Because you can say the waterfront. So here's the thing about the waterfront. It is a destination spot
For Squirrel Hill.
for individuals who can get there quickly.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
Greenfield,
if-
Squirrel Hill,
Right.
Munhall,
So
West
if
Mifflin.
I live in those places,
Sure.
I need to go to a movie theater. I need to buy a Halloween costume.
Go to Purgatory,
I need
go
to get
to whatever it is.
You know what I mean? I can go there. I can be in that isolated community. Boom. I don't have to deal with Homestead per se.
Sure.
So
but that's
it-
but if and that's the thing, you don't have to deal with Homestead per se. You want to escape. You want to keep that
Right.
separate. Now here's the thing. Any business, any strip, anything that's so close together, your goal should be that you don't want to feel like, oh, I gotta bypass Homestead. You should be making it so that Homestead is also a place where you don't feel like, oh, yeah, I mean, like, so if you're not giving that money to help the community, same thing with the Hill when they brought in like the igloo, not the igloo,
I know what you mean.
console energy,
Yeah, yeah.
and there was all that. I mean, like, and that's what gentrification is at its core.
There's responsible gentrification. There's irresponsible gentrification.
Exactly.
Okay. And what happened with the waterfront, as a guy who came in and owns a entire city block of Homestead right now, I can tell you that the way that was done was a way that they had to make it work because if they didn't have another choice, but it was irresponsible gentrification. So those guys have been tax deferred for so many years, and what's about to happen is in about a year and a half, all of a sudden they don't have deferred taxes anymore, and now Homestead for the first time is going to be able to pay for their police force.
Yeah, see, exactly.
It's about to change, and things are going to happen. And you know what? I had the ability. I didn't even know that. I walked into the community and I was like, "Here's a bunch of hardworking people that, first off, are way more diverse than anybody even begins to know." People think like, "Oh, it's a bad community. Oh, it's a this community. Oh, there's a shooting here. Or there's a this." It's not even close to that. There are people that are in there that are literally like world-renowned architects, artists. You got Barron doing things. You got amazing restaurants. You got all these absolutely. You got all these amazing things that are happening within our community, and I had the ability to be I happen to have the biggest impact when I came in and my company came in, and now what's about to happen is now it's about to explode, paired with what's happening down at the waterfront with that lack of tax deferment, paired with like real community redevelopment organizations, and we care.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them out there.
So tell us about this beach. What is this? Where'd the cap go?
Beach gear.
Beach gear.
So
yes.
beach gear.
That is fucking delicious.
Beach gear is a nice little apricot wheat, man.
Apricot wheat.
Yeah. It's super chill. It sits a little lower. Voodoo's known for a little bit higher ABV beers. It sits a little lower at 5.4%.
Really?
So, yep, a little bit lower. You know,
I don't know if I've ever had a beer that was lower than like a 6% from you.
Well, no,
and that's being gracious. Like, I think 7 might be the threshold.
Have I ever told you guys the story about, you know, kind of why I don't even want to say Voodoo, but a lot of the earlier craft breweries are a little bit higher in ABV. So back in the day, put yourself back into 2005, 6, 7. Craft beer is just starting, and you've got Johnny Joe beer drinker from wherever, and he comes up to you and he says, "Why should I drink that?" And you're like, "Well, man, because actually because it costs more. Why would I pay at that time $3.50 for a beer like this, you know, whatever?" And you say, "Well, actually, that $3.50 is actually worth
the equivalent
4 or 3 or whatever it is compared, you know, mathematically."
It gets you fucked up.
Yeah,
that's how I turned so many people.
Bullshit.
That's why I turned so many people on to craft beer, because I'm like, when you look at craft beer, I mean, and you look at the higher ABVs or whatever, now you have range, and like, you know, as a craft beer, once you get into it, then you're like, oh, you have your session ales and the whole nine, and you have a range depending upon what you want to do. But first getting into it, it's like, why am I paying this much? Like when they say like Coors Light special, $3, that's not special. There's nothing special about a 3% beer. Like
back in the day, it was about math.
Can we say this on this podcast? Drink better.
Yeah, and
drink better. We don't have to take it past those two words. Drink better. Like you're making money. Spend your money in places where you're getting bang for your buck.
Yeah.
I'm a dude from East Cleveland. I'm a dude that grew up thinking Hennessy was the penultimate. Like Hennessy, like once you can start buying bottles of Hennessy, you made it. I was 14 when I bought my first bottle of Hennessy. I gave money to my man Steel Bill. He goes in, he gets Hennessy, he gives you money.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that guy? I know he's what's up.
And that's
in every hood, there's a dude outside of the distributor who will
get you your shit.
He'll get your shit.
It was
give him a couple dollars.
was my dude.
He would give us
Stinky Joe.
He'll buy his Wild Irish.
He would give us a $5 bag of Bud and go in and buy some liquor.
Nah, you give him $40 for a bottle of Hennessy. He'll bring you the $32 bottle of Hennessy, and then he'll figure out how he can get his Mad Dog. And that's how that shit works. But drink better. Like the thing about drinking is what I think people get confused is I get fucked up for a living, so to speak. Like Day and I, we do drinking partners. We drink all the time. All we do is, like, on this podcast, the only consistent is us drinking. We promote small business. We promote all this shit, but we're always drinking. The thing about it is, drink better. Promote small business. Promote individuals trying to get money. Like, you're going to drink. The thing about America and the thing about this world is, if you look at all of the shows that we make, all the shit that we make, it's about individuals finding an outlet. That outlet is generally some level of fuck-upness.
You guys are my favorite people.
Either getting high or getting drunk.
I just want to, in the black community, like when you say Henny.
Not even black community.
No. But listen, right? Because like, in the black community, craft beer is a thing that like
it's a taboo in the black community.
It is.
They're looking at it like
and when you look at Henny, you got to look at it, Henny as an example.
It's
and
a craft liquor.
Exactly.
I make French onion soup with it.
You drink Henny, you pay more for Henny because it doesn't have as many impurities in it.
Right.
It is well crafted and it's worth the money
You
that's going into it.
drink Henny over E&J because you don't feel
and
as
a lot of
negatively
people, and
after Hennessy.
A lot
than
of the
E&J.
community doesn't understand that beer is the same thing.
It's the same.
It's the same thing as Henny.
And
that's
you can
why
have
you
that
pay
same
for
potency.
That's why you pay for Grey Goose as opposed to Vladimir, because you don't
But you
want
can
to
have
wake
that
up.
same potency.
Exactly.
And that's where I think we stumble. We don't think that same potency comes with it. And what I try to say is, look, bro, from 14, I've been a Henny advocate. Day you've known me for 4 years, going on 5 years, I've always said Hennessy.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Hundo.
And
Cognac.
I will never change my Henny outlet because I was born into it. I've been drinking Hennessy since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But now that I can drink craft brew and get I can go somewhere, get a 6-pack of craft brew, good craft brew. I can get a 6-pack of Great Lakes for $10.50, fam.
Yeah.
That's 1/3 of a price of a bottle of Hennessy with more ounces.
Exactly.
And I can be as fucked up.
Because like that Henny, you're not. I mean, even if you drink that whole Henny or whatever, like you don't need a whole Henny.
You don't drink a whole bottle of
You
Hennessy,
don't need a whole bottle.
you're
of
gonna
Henny.
be super more fucked up. But if you drink 2 craft beers on a Wednesday,
You're
you
good.
got 4 more for that Thursday.
And like
Friday.
I could take a 6-pack to a house party. I can't take a whole bottle. If I take a whole bottle of Henny to a house party, I'm gonna feel a certain way. Especially if we don't drink all of that shit. Now I'm chilling like I got a half a bottle of Henny in here. And I want to leave. I feel like I left something on the table, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when you bring a whole bottle of Henny, but if you bring a 6-pack, you're cool leaving that 6-pack there.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I mean?
good with that.
But leaving half a bottle of
It
Henny
makes
there,
you a
might
much
feel-
better social drinker.
Yeah. Very
Beer
much so.
lends yourself to be a better social drinker.
Yeah.
And I've learned through doing this podcast and dealing with you and Epicast socially, listen, fam, showing up to an event, a gathering, empty-handed, that's just whack. So if you want to show up with a $34, $35 bottle of Hennessy, cool. But I can show up with a 6-pack of beers for $10, $11, and I can be like, you get a beer, you get a beer, you get a beer, you get a beer.
Yeah.
And some of y'all gonna get 2 beers. But it's just a better, socially, economically better investment. And I feel like Voodoo, with the potency of your beers, I don't need to show up with a 24-pack. So if I show up with a Corona, I gotta have a box.
Yeah.
I gotta have 24
You gotta have
Coronas.
24.
Have
of
you
them
ever, after like
motherfuckers.
hanging out with guys like me and like drinking all this craft beer, have you gone back and drank Corona and been like, what?
Oh, I do that all the time. I tell Day all
Yingling
the
was
time.
crazy when I first started drinking like craft beer, and then like I really got into it, and I went back to Yingling. I was like, it tastes like corn or some shit. It was a weird aftertaste. I was like,
tell
what the
Day
fuck
all the time.
is this? Like,
All the time I tell Day, yo, I was chilling and I was like, yo, I'm not trying to drink, so I randomly bought a Miller Lite or a Coors.
You can drink you can drink like 23 of them.
Right. So I'd be like, yo,
I'd be like, I'm cool.
I spent $3, but I was like, what the fuck was that? And they be like, a Coors. Like, the motherfuckers look at you like, what are you doing? Because again, you can drink better. And again, listen to 105 for Farm to Table. There's a way, and I think with us, I think our mission now moving forward is live your life, support local, and invest your money where you get more bang for your buck. Why spend more money on these larger corporations where this motherfucker's local that'll get you more fucked up for cheaper? You can get better food, better drink, and you can be cool. Like, you can get some shit from Farm to Table, some vegetables, and you can go to Voodoo and get a very potent beer where you're drinking a 9.5% beer for $5, as opposed to getting a 3% beer, or 4% beer, or 5% beer for $4.50. And you're like, yo, fuck this beer. I just drank very malty water.
Sure. Well, like
Donkey piss.
I think as you guys, as I've watched your podcast evolved and sit sit back and kind of see as you guys have done things and everything. I mean, I think you guys have the right people that come and represent you as a podcast and sit down and like, you pull Meg Evans onto a podcast, I'm listening because she's what's up. She took a program and like, I mean, you use the words local. When I went and was trying to buy with my partners the spot in Homestead, we were touring places in Homestead all day long. And then we went down, we were like, oh, cool, let's go check out Rock Bottom. Even though I lived down here, I'd never seen it. I went down and drank some of that beer and I couldn't even drink it. I almost spit it out. Then they hire Meg. Meg goes in there and completely takes a program, turns it around, and literally turns it into an ultra local program that has amazing things happening to it every single day. When I sit back and see what you guys are doing, and I'm basically just, totally pumping you guys up because I think what you have going on is different. I think there's a bunch of podcasters, especially in the city of Pittsburgh, that are doing a bunch of stuff.
Everybody has a podcast.
No, you guys
Everybody has a
absolutely
podcast.
everybody has a podcast.
Do they have quality?
only you guys and Aaron Watson are the only ones that I'm into.
Shout out to Aaron
And we
Watson.
had
That's
Aaron
actually
on our
102.
shit last. It's within the
102.
last 4 or 5
It was
years.
102.
man.
And it was
There's
102. I know that
Look at
because I've been
Dave
pumping that
knowing-
shit.
He's going Dave.
It's
Look at
because it's
Dave.
recent and I've been pumping it. Very rare I could actually come
So
up
there's
with
a hierarchy
That's
to
it.
this podcast shit.
No, that's it. I've
Dave
seen him
gets the
around. He's an
people-
active guy. He's passionate about what he does.
Yeah.
And you know what? The way that he interviews is an amazing way. So
No,
he's not
because
comedians
he
like
has
you
his
guys.
own
Like I
podcast.
could sit here and not even talk and laugh. Do you know what I mean? Just and I would have fun with it. But like you go to a guy like going deep with Aaron Watson. He's like, he'll look at you and he'll be like, "So what do you think about?"
Oh yeah,
We
we
had
were
to
in there.
smoke
We were
business. We had
there.
to do-
and I'm like,
and it's-
"This dude is legit."
Yeah, it's crazy. Being podcasters, we're not used to being on the other side.
We had
And
to
then
do two
he-
with him on one day.
Yeah, we did his podcast, and then we had him on our podcast when we were like completely fucking shit faced. But like being on that,
And that's
other
not his
side-
style, dude.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
totally not
so it
his
was nice.
style.
We were both
Yeah.
outside of our elements because we're not
Sure.
used to being interviewed,
Yeah.
and he's not used to talking drunk.
Can I throw one more podcast shout out too?
Yeah.
Which I actually think you guys are going to work together. I was talking to Buzzy about it. Nick Grimes and Veterans Breakfast Club. Do you guys know what's going on with that?
You know what? I've worked with Veterans Breakfast Club
They're my
again,
shit,
in my
dude.
day job or whatever. Like that was
You got to make.
will
Hey, don't let me
work
forget.
with
I want to know what that's
anyone.
all about. No, but I mean, seriously, do you know what they're doing right now? It's the coolest thing ever. First off, so there's so many veterans organizations out there right now that are very focused on everything but the post 9/11 veteran, and we're kind of the new veteran, right? So I'm an Iraq and Afghanistan guy.
Yeah.
Most of us are both Iraq, Afghanistan guys, or like multiple, whatever. And they tend to kind of like record, focus on like Vietnam, World War II, Korea, all those types of guys.
Because it's the you have like a breakfast and then you tell the stories or whatever. Like
Dude,
I've been to a few of those,
and everyone
the stories
there's
are amazing.
There's tears, laughs, and legitimate tears. There's
Yeah.
that dude in that corner. You're like, look over at that dude. And you're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, man, that guy hasn't had a memory like that pop up in a really long time.
For the listeners, like I said, it's what is it? Is it monthly that they do it?
They're doing so much. So it started out at least, and Nick, if you're listening, which I have a feeling that you will, feel free to correct me if the story isn't correct. So it started out as a historical grant from a university that had the ability to record World War II stories.
Yeah.
And then they got another one that did Korea. Then they did another one that did Vietnam. Then they got the big one that's doing the post 9/11 stuff. And this dude understands it. We're talking about brewing here today and talking about beer. So what they're doing now is they're going to breweries around the area because guys our age love to go to those breweries. That's kind of like where we hang out at. And they're like, you know what? Don't care if there's people in here. I'm setting up a mic and I'm going to have this dude tell the story. I've gone to a couple of them and I watched this guy get up and tell this story about, hey, this one time I was in Afghanistan, this one time I was in Iraq, this one time I did this, whatever that might be. And there's these people that are sitting there having a beer and they're like, holy crap, I can't believe that these guys are integrated into my communities. And they're doing real things. And there's not a whole lot of post 9/11 veterans organizations that are doing real things right now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of post 9/11 veteran business owners, which is like where I fit into and I'm super proud of, but you don't see
It's because-
actually like nonprofits doing things that are badass. You know what I mean?
It's tough because we don't have as much time and like it is a whole nother thing and I've got a lot, but like
Well, no, we're actually,
you know,
dude, we're doing, we're going to do it. You, me, and obviously your guy, we're
Yeah.
going to sit down with Nick and we're going to just do one. We're just going to have at it.
Yeah, that whole like because you look at the phase of activism and whatever, and like the military has done a great job of funding wars, but not funding aftercare, which is a huge and you
it's
look
the Department of Defense's biggest failure.
Exactly. I mean, and like you look at a lot of the things that are available even now, and it's because of that backlash of the the Vietnam War, where you had these this group of educated individuals that went to war, came back, and was like, we deserve more, and they fought heavily. And I see soldiers on a regular basis who are still fighting for basic things that are owed to them that, for whatever reason, loopholes or whatever that the government has tried to take away or whatever. So when you what you're saying is with the post 9/11, I can see why the post 9/11 age isn't as heavy into it, because the government has kind of, and I don't like to be, but no, I do like to be anti-government. But anyway, like
we have editing rights, right?
Yeah, they've kind of saw the Vietnam movement, and they've gotten smarter, and they've kind of built around that, so that a lot of vets coming out now, they don't even know a lot of the the services that are available to them.
Well, it's not even about that. So guys my age, so I went 2.5 times during the Bush administration, got extended for an extra 6 months, didn't have the ability to go home. Stop loss, doing all that time. But so guys, so we are really 0.1% of the entire population. So guys like me, it wasn't like Vietnam. If you grew up on a block in the middle of Braddock, you were like, dude, my entire block went. And you came back and you at least had somebody that you could look in your eye and be like, dude, hey man, I know you were in Saigon, or I was, whatever. You at least had like a little bit of people that you could have spend some time and look each other in the eye and understand like kind of what you did. We're such a small portion of the entire nation because we're all volunteer. And we didn't go one time. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I always tell the story when I get onto this note. Had a guy coming back from my second deployment. He was our team medic, young kid, not squared away whatsoever. Terrible at what he did, but I loved him. I was like, dude, what are you going to do when you get home? And he's like, I'm going to get a driver's license. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, like I didn't have one in high school, and then I graduated and I was in the Army, and this is my 5th deployment, and I'm 25. And I don't have a driver's license. How do you take that dude and be like, hey, dude, you know what you're going to do next is spreadsheets in a cubicle at PNC? Like, how do you get a hold of that dude? You're never going to get a hold of that dude. You're going to get a hold of that dude if he's super motivated, if he has a family, if he's squared away, if he's not on things that he shouldn't be on, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It just
self-medication.
Yeah, it starts to get dark on that shit. You know what I mean? I feel bad about that guy. And that's a guy that I want to grab a hold of and be like, hey man, you could do it, dude, because I got out and figured it out. But a lot of some of the guys, they do have a tough time figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of anybody listening right now, there's a lot of services out there. You may not be aware of them, but I'm sure that if you give a little bit of time, effort to research those organizations or whatever, and even if you're listening, like I know that I don't talk about my day job a lot, but if you're a vet out there, but if you're a vet out there listening,
the advocacy of
if you're listening, I mean, out there, and you're a vet and you're looking for any type of resources, whatever, you're in a bad place, feel free. You can find us on Drinking Partners Pod, myself at Dave Bracey or whatever,
Jake at voodooBrewery.com. If you're a vet out there having a tough time, especially if you're in the Western Pennsylvania area, make sure you hit me up immediately. I will drive to your house and sit down and at least have a conversation with you.
We can swear you away. That is a community that I'm heavily invested in, and we appreciate your service, and you deserve our support. So
we should talk about the positive stuff of being a vet, and basically it forms you to form a business.
Oh, I mean, no matter what you want to do, skills that you get out of being in there, and
there's a podcast within that.
Yeah, I mean,
people who learn the system and know how to take advantage of the system.
Can we start podcasting monthly? Can you guys come over to my house? We can
just do whatever the fuck because we're podcasters. Like we have the job that everybody wants. That we essentially sit with motherfuckers and talk. Yeah. We don't have to talk about certain things. We choose to, but we don't have to.
Outside.
But yeah, definitely we can do that. But
we have full editing rights, right? We can edit all this stuff out.
Yeah. Editing
can I please?
We're a family, motherfucker. Whatever we talk about, edit that shit.
I am dying because the thing about you guys is that you guys are so witty and so intelligent and fun. You guys have, I can tell you that not only as a shit, I shouldn't even go live doing this, but the politics situation in this country right now breaks my heart.
Well,
Breaks
one thing
my heart,
I do want to
man.
talk about. I do want to talk to more people about that. But fuck Trump. Like that's never going to change. But
Let me hear it. Like, what's your thought as a dude that, growing up where you grew up, which basically put him, being elected from the Rust Belt, Cleveland, Cuyahoga County.
well, I think him being elected in the Rust Belt is what Trump did, and not liking Trump to me as an educated individual is far different from understanding and appreciating what Trump was able to do.
I concur.
So you get Hillary Clinton, who is
Terribly ran campaign.
well, she is a byproduct of what I would call the standard or what's happening. So she's a byproduct of that. So she ignores the Rust Belt as far as going and visiting specific individuals in that Rust Belt.
You see President Obama even like dig into her about being about Iowa?
So here's what sucks about that. You got Obama and her who are in the same party. They don't like each other, but he has to endorse her.
Sure.
And it seems disingenuous when you listen to him endorse her because
You see
they're
him
so
even talk
different.
about, he's like, the reason I won Iowa was because I went there 57 times.
Yeah,
in
you
a press
go
conference.
there-
She didn't go
well-
one time.
I can say another 3 hours of things about this.
We have to
But
pull this out.
The
like,
thing is that
please,
we
I will
do
get my
need
ass
to
handed
we
to me.
do need to end this, and we have been. This is a great podcast, and we're gonna have you back on again, Jake.
There's
you know
no
that.
reason
I wanna
not
do
to.
it monthly.
This is your first time, and it ain't your last time either. You'll be back on the podcast, and we will have so much more to say because the vets, the election, the brews. We ain't even get through. There's so much on the table right now that we ain't even literally and figuratively. There's a lot on the table that we have. Yeah, I mean we haven't even got to. But for the purposes of the podcast and listeners at home, we got to get out of here, Jake. Tell them where they can find you.
So Western Pennsylvania, you can find us in Homestead, Meadville, and Erie. We have walk-in locations, pubs at each spot. Soon to be another location in Meadville, which is not going to be a walk-in spot, but our production facility. And many distributor and craft beer bars. I'll throw a couple out there. Mad Mex, thank you so much
Shout
for
out to
everything.
Mad Mex, Big
as
Burrito.
well as that. Absolutely. Carson Street Deli, House of 1,000 Beers.
Carson Street Deli, yeah. Those are-
Piper's Pub, Fathead's Pub. There's so many more that I'm forgetting
You're not
about.
shutting down the Meadville spot, the original did, right?
Oh, no,
you're just
man.
expanding.
That's our joint.
All right,
dude.
that's a super
That's
cool
home.
fucking
That's
place,
home,
man. Super cool place.
No, that's home. I mean, we've had the ability, like I said, to grow throughout, all of these time periods and, whatever time period you want to put together. And, it is Meadville's home. Straight up home. So.
Nice.
Real quick before we go, got the Good Vibes Festival. This is your first music festival.
Sure.
Give us some information about that, and then I will stop speaking as if I'm not drunk and close it out.
Sure.
As a straight alcoholic.
So we are super excited to announce that we are going to do a music festival this year. It's going to be called Good Vibes Festival. Details are still a little
James
kind of coming.
Franco.
We're just kind of starting to tell people about it, and it's going to be something that's special to us, and kind of comes with our personality, who we are. It's a location.
Have you guys thrown like music events before, or any kind of like?
I mean, like we've had some bands, and Meadville has had a couple. We have a little stage upstairs, so we do have some people like a little bit of metal shows. We got some bands from New York
But
that we love.
you haven't done like a festival type thing before.
Oh, we're doing it, dude.
yeah. So this is your first like festival.
This is why you support small
We're gonna be
business.
there.
Yeah.
because
Can we host that?
We
No,
can,
we already
I'm
t- I
sorry.
already told-
I don't even know.
it's already locked in.
Small
I'm not the
business
type of-
allows you
know
to
what? I feel-
move into sectors.
Yeah, no, I feel bad.
incrementally
I
and
don't
create
ever
events.
ask people shit like that. We'll talk later, but like,
But small
I would,
business
like,
allows
wanna-
you to
I
create
do wanna
events.
To be
And that's
straight,
why we
I
say
literally-
support small.
Literally, like, guys, I actually think I already paid for you guys to be there. I'm pretty sure that I wrote the check. So, but it's
Word.
it's not about that. I mean, at the end of the day, so we're gonna do something that is, Like, I don't even know how to coin it. I'm kind of out of words, and I know that we're coming to a close, and we've had a bunch of beers. We're having fun.
Let it roll. This is a podcast.
I mean, I think that as a company, as we continue to grow, so I talked about all these things. We're Canada, we're doing this, we're doing that. We're growing as a company. We're an ESOP. It's like, kind of, how do we keep who we are, and so you got to remember, like, myself and like kind of the top guys in the company that, you know, got this thing going. Like, at the end of the day, we were chilling when we were 18 and being like, you know, this is something we might want to do someday, and this is something that we want to be a part of. We all went separate paths. We all came back to a different place and, you know, got it working in one way or the other. And I think that Good Vibes Fest is going to be something that it's like, hey man, this is kind of us, and whether you like us or not or whatever it is, you can at least come and hang out and have great beer.
Ain't nothing wrong with a good time.
No, and like you or not, I don't know if there's anybody that doesn't like you. I mean,
there's nobody that doesn't like.
There's people that don't know
alcohol.
you. There's people that don't know you.
Sure.
But anybody that drinks your product,
it's good alcohol.
Yeah,
it's all about
it's variety. Again,
you know what I want to do, because he's going to listen to the entire thing.
What's wrong with that?
I need you guys.
Nothing wrong with good alcohol. My mom
I want to get Kurt.
She would tuck me in every day and be like, "Nothing wrong with good alcohol," and I didn't know what the fuck she meant until right now.
Kurt, our master brewer, who I always go back to, he's one of my closest friends, and most of the genius that you guys see, especially what you guys drink, he's really the guy behind all of it. I want
to him.
He was. We were talking about it on the last cast because like a lot of his, you know, inspirations are what's on that fucking ceiling down there.
He likes to be secluded and doesn't like to get out it. Hey, Kurt. You need to come on this podcast with these guys. They'd absolutely love it, and it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, to actually meet like the man behind the curtain.
He's just
talking to the man in the curtain. Man, I'm asking him to change the time.
Brew some beers.
Do you guys have to work tomorrow morning?
Yes.
What time?
Oh shit!
It doesn't matter.
I do
I'm
have
fucked
to
up.
work tomorrow morning.
Here's the thing about what we do. We sit with people. We get fucked up, we get real, and you guys listen and get jealous because you weren't there. And here's the thing: come be around us.
You can actually be
Find
here.
us.
You can actually be here. Actually, January 28th, you can be in the room. Apis Meter is going to be down there, man. Dave Sermonera, he's been on a few podcasts.
We talked about Dave. Let me tell you something about Dave. You know what Dave's all about?
Yeah.
He's all about
getting fucked up.
Let's party, dude. That dude's legit, man.
What is it? Dave
But he's a professional about it. He's an
brings
actual
the party.
He's actually a professional party. He'll be like, so what's your cost of goods sold of the product? And it'll like go through it, and then he's be like, all right, dudes, let's party. We're good.
Yeah, let's get past the numbers and let's get past the numbers into the party.
I've had some of my best nights with Dave, man.
Oh,
like,
no.
he's
I
become
fucks
a
with
quick
Dave.
friend. Like, he's a dude that
Well, why don't
That's
we-
a phrase
I'll
that
sit
you
on
don't
his
say
porch.
about people you don't fuck with.
Wait, so when's the next time you guys need a
Dave,
sponsor?
man.
We wanted to do a collabo with Dave, and then it didn't work out. But what we should do,
Apis and
we
Voodoo
don't brew,
collab?
so we're
dude,
doing
Dave.
any
Let me tell you,
collaboration where
I'm
we
super
fucks
into.
with y'all.
Like, look, Dave, you
Can we
understand
make
what
that
Dave
happen?
did.
Can we facilitate that? Can we put the drinking partners in with that somehow?
You guys know, like,
That
what
would be super.
you know what ended up happening? Like, Dave, I mean, dude, he left Penn. That dude took a business risk. He cannonballed into, I'm going to create something. Oh, you're opening up a meadery in Pennsylvania?
The Leap.
People looked at him and they were like, what? And that dude's doing it. And people are serving it, and it's awesome. You had his lavender mead? Good God. Oh, my
Oh, that
God.
strawberry balsamic. It tastes like a rhubarb kind of pie. I mean,
it's
with a
great.
little bit of cinnamon in there.
Bruh,
Like,
great.
What?
Yes, that.
Rhubarb pie?
Yeah, you know rhubarb.
Fam,
It's like
I don't know rhubarb.
You don't know rhubarb?
Negro.
You know what?
Have
I ain't
you
no rhubarb
been
until
to
about.
East Cleveland? Ain't no rhubarb shit in East
I ain't
Cleveland.
no rhubarb until about a
nigga,
year
this said
ago.
A rhubarb pie.
Wait, what town in
motherfuckers
East
like,
Cleveland are you from?
Rhubarb pie. Fuck out of here.
What are you from,
Don't
Altoona?
nobody- I'm from America. Don't nobody eat no rhubarb pie. Rhubarb, nigga, like you just said rhubarb pie, like that shit was
Hey,
a
fam,
thing.
I'm not.
Nah, man,
no, cuz
fuck outta here.
I ain't know about that shit until about a year
You
ago.
still
I
know
heard about
rhubarb,
it, and when
nah.
you hear about rhubarb,
have you
right?
had rhubarb pie? All right, Nick, have you had rhubarb pie?
You know, I'm sorry.
Nick is white.
Cricketing.
Buzzy, have you had rhubarb pie?
Yes, he
Damn
has.
it! 2 out
He
of
has
3.
a rhubarb beard.
2 out of
Like,
3. 2 out of 3 white guys have.
I knew that was coming.
Like, what the fuck? Can we just get your information where they can find you so I can leave because I'm not trusting Day anymore. Rhubarb pie?
Can we do
Nah,
can we do
fam.
one more podcast
Not
after
with rhubarb.
another time? Can we get in here and get super crushed and then walk over to A La Familia or whatever it is
And just
just
eat
walk
shit I've
in
never
like
heard
us
of?
wearing what we're wearing right now and just walk in just drunk as shit and being like, yes, I will take those bottles of wine
Can we
and
walk
raviolis?
Can we go somewhere and order
We can
rhubarb
actually-
pie after we get fucked up? 'Cause
No, we're gonna demand that shit because we're in there and they're gonna look at us. They're gonna be like, get the fuck out right now.
Truth, because I'm definitely blacked out, like in
Nah,
a hoodie
dog, not
and
with-
boots.
not with a rhubarb
like, they
pie.
don't
You
think
like
that I
Casper
know
right now.
most English words. they assume
Bruh.
I'm a little sloppy with a dictionary. You know what
Not
I mean?
when you say rhubarb pie.
We're gonna walk in
You
and-
look like one
and we're
of the
gonna be
shits
like-
that the Ghostbusters were hunting. You know
Be
when
like-
they had that shit on your jeans and it had the mark through the pie, the fucking ghost? That's what Day is now. Rhubarb pie? Fuck out of here. Tell us who you are, where they can find you, and I'll figure out a way that I can fuck with Day after this episode. Rhubarb pie, nigga? Fuck out of here. I don't know if rhubarb is a fruit, a vegetable. What fucking food group does that fit in?
I've
You
eaten
gotta
it,
go.
and I still don't know,
Rhubarb
man.
pie?
I've eaten
Nah,
it, and I still don't
bruh.
know, man. I feel you.
Nah.
I feel
She
you.
said
I
greens,
feel you.
beans, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken. But she didn't say rhubarb.
Rhubarb!
She didn't name that. You name it. Not rhubarb. You gotta go. We gotta get a different cast. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming. Who are
Yeah.
you?
Man, I
Where
seriously
can they
love you
find
guys. I really do. I
Shit
mean,
about
seriously,
rhubarb.
I've been so excited for this. I even got a babysitter for it. I mean,
Yes.
super
that's that
stoked
grown
on it.
man shit, man.
Man.
Yo, when
Is
you
there
can live
rhubarb at your
dream-
crib right now?
Actually, I grow it in the back.
Fuck. Say your name and go. Say your name and go.
Yeah.
Because I feel
I
uncomfortable.
I'm Jake Voelker, one of the principals of Voodoo Brewing Company. Thank you so much for having us on.
No, thank you.
I love you guys. You guys are legit. There's so many people that are kind of hovering around the industry right now, doing podcasts, social media stuff around craft beer. You guys are the real deal. It means the world to us to be a part of it. And thank
We
you so
appreciate
much.
that. It
No,
means a
You guys
lot.
make me laugh. You guys make me laugh. We can end it after this, but I got to tell you, I'm super into stand-up comedians. It's kind of the only thing I'm into right now, whether it's like
We got
podcasts or like
Jake
online and everything. You
so
guys are
fucked
nailing it.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I mean,
not really.
Like we're the type of comedian. Like you
We're the
really
type
gotta,
of comedian
you
that
gotta
gets you
see us
fucked up
live.
and you
we
gotta
don't put
go.
a lot. Like I mean, you might interact with us online and see like things that we post or whatever. But like to really capture a comedian, you need to see them on stage, live. And like it just
I'm now
falls-
doing it for the first time in a long time, man.
And it falls into the same thing, that we always say, man. Local brew, local businesses,
Sure.
small business.
Well,
local
comedian needs to get
artists.
local. Who's your
You know what I mean?
favorite
Like
comedian of all
everything.
time?
All time is Chris Rock.
Who's your favorite comedian of all time?
Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah, he's probably mine too, man.
We could probably don't.
We can't.
Why?
We nah. We can't.
Close it out.
No, because he was.
Close it out.
No,
Before I
I'm
get
not
out.
closing anything out. I'm
All
gonna
right,
keep
we
it
gotta
out.
get
No, we
out.
gotta
Yeah.
go.
Tight. Day,
If
where
you're
can they
looking-
find us?
If you're looking for us, we are the Drinking Partners. We're Googleable. Google Drinking Partners. You can also find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on IG, Twitter, Facebook @partnerspod. And you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play.
We're
under Drinking
Googleable.
Partners.
Hey, listen. Thank you, Day. I cut you off. Thank you, Jake, for coming through. Chris Rock. I said Chris Pryor. I'm fucked up. Chris Rock, GOAT. I know what I'm gonna say. You know when you be fucked up and your throat is filled with a belch and you gotta let that belch subside.
This is that voodoo.
Great time with Voodoo. If you're around, if you're in Pittsburgh, go to Homestead, get you some Voodoo. If you're near Meadville, go there, get you some Voodoo. You'll be fucked up. You'll appreciate it. We want to thank our guest, Jake, here. As always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family.
What? Thanks, guys.
That shit was 2 hours. I didn't even know. Probably. I don't have to take any of this off. I can literally go home. We're gonna get fucked up. Yeah, playoff games are over. There are no playoff games.
Epicast.